Welcome in on a Friday, another nice Friday. It's Friday Night Lights Friday, which I'm all excited. Spring football is here. Can't wait for all of that tonight at the Liberty Bowl. It is also a day that the Tigers got some other good news, at least Penny Hardaway's team basketball did. Landers Nolley, leading scorer on the team a year ago, made it official on Instagram not too long ago. Landers Nolley, Brett Norsworthy, is coming back. So you got the three main guys back. You've got a 4 or 5 star guy in Timberlake. You've got the leading scorer in a conference that you got in Davion. I forgot his last name already. Of course, I haven't seen him play yet, but the young man from Hampton. And you've got a hell of a basketball team, and now we're just sitting to wait and see whether or not they go to the portal for more, or whether or not the Lawsons make this a top 5 recruiting class in the country. It is a good day.
Yeah, it is. And the roster is getting set, but I want to warn for everybody that we're going to go through this again this summer, where we'll be in the run-up to Tiger basketball season of just how we're going to play everybody. How's everybody going to fit in? I mean, it's good. The Hubie Brown 10-man rotation, and then as the year goes on, you're down to about 4 to 5 guys that you can really rely on. And Tennessee also going through that again. Rick Barnes, very similarly to Penny Hardaway, he kind of dominates April to November. Then November to March, a little more than the Tigers have accomplished, but not a lot more, especially not a lot more for the hype. Tennessee's going through this same hype again, a top 3, 4, 5 recruiting class, some good guys staying around, some good portal news, some expected news on guys turning pro. So, yes, very good news because you got guys that know how to play, and you can go out there and play games with. But for both the Tigers and Tennessee, both of them need to start faster and get locked in a little sooner. Tennessee needs to finish better than they have finished. Tigers have finished a little better. But yes, very, very good news. And DeAndre Williams, Landers Nolley, they can play. I still think the Tigers need something reliable night in, night out at point guard. But yes, good news, and hope springs eternal.
All right, I think your point is a really good one, and a concern, a fear for me, in that although Penny did a good job of playing pretty much a 9 to 10 man rotation, where maybe his son got less minutes, about 12 and a half a game when they were really rotating 10 guys, but he did a good job of pressing a lot and trying to go fast pace and playing 10 guys. And that's what he's going to have to do if he gets all these guys in. Or I'm with you here. I have this fear. If you've got all these guys who can really play and it's all positionless basketball, which, it sure seems like that, especially if the Lawsons do come on board. And how can you possibly play everybody? Somebody's feelings get hurt.
And we had this discussion. We've had it every year of the Penny Hardaway years, and I'm not trying to link them with Tennessee. I'm not trying to do that, but it's a good case study comparison. Every year at Tennessee, you've had this. Let me tell you who's going to have it next year. Alabama's going to have it. Mm-hmm. How do we play all these guys? Only one ball. Will guys take
Arkansas 20, is going to have that this year.
Arkansas could have that this year. That's right, Dave. Will a guy accept playing 20 minutes instead of 27 minutes? I think all that's a bunch of hooey because it eventually gets down to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 guys that can really go for you, and the rest watch, and those guys have to play for you.
I think really and truly in this day and age with the pace the way it is, I think you can play and keep happy an 8-man rotation. After that, I think it gets dicey unless you've got some guys that really buy into what their role is. And most of the time, 4-star guys don't buy into roles. They've been treated as stars since they were basically
10.
13 or 14 years old in AAU
Yeah.
and playing the national circuit. So I think
that 4
will be
stars
interesting.
handed out a little too liberally as well.
Maybe so.
I see a lot of guys. I go, really? He's 4?
I look at the 5 stars that were given to Musa Cisse, and I don't mean to pick on that guy, but
You're not picking on him. It's a fact.
There's just I don't understand how that evaluation came to 5 stars when he got here. He was so far behind what you would expect. A guy who was supposed to be a one-and-done guy, he was so far behind anybody that I've ever seen labeled like that before. There is a really good story. It happened late yesterday. We didn't get to it yesterday. I want to make sure I get to it today because I think he's one of the nicest guys that is homegrown, went away, came back, just like Penny. Felt a great love for the city and wanted to be involved in the local basketball scene, was involved in the local basketball scene, and now gets a shot at a college program. And I'm talking about the Little General. Andre Turner, Tulane. And many people have said, why would he go to Lane College? Well, in my estimation, and I really haven't had a chance to talk with Andre, But Andre loves the game. Andre has been a great high school coach at Mitchell. He takes his team to the state tournament every year. He's won state championships. But major colleges don't hire high school coaches almost all of the time. I know there's exceptions. Michigan and Memphis are exceptions with Howard and Hardaway. But most of the time you don't. And if Andre, and I was doing math in my head, I'd have to think that Andre Turner's about 56 years old. If he's going to become a college coach, if that is really what he aspires to become, he's got to start this way, unless he had become an assistant on a big-time program. And even then, at his age, I think he's got to prove himself, turn things around at Lane, and then he can get a job that would be in, say, the UT Martin range. Maybe better. I hope better. But I think he aspires for this. I think he's on his way, and I don't blame him for taking that. I don't believe finances are a big thing. He played 6 years in the NBA.
So you're telling me Andre Turner's 56 years old?
Well, I did the math this way.
What's that make us?
Well, it makes me really old. Well, think about it like this.
Boy, he looks a lot better.
He was a freshman in 1986, correct?
84.
Or 84. Oh, wait. 82. Yeah. I think he was a freshman in 82. He graduated. Yeah, because my first year was 81.
Freshman the year after Keith Lee.
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
It was
Keith's sophomore year.
Okay.
So he's a freshman in 82. So he's 18 in 82, right?
Oh, man.
So
I'm 58. He's 57.
He's 56 or 57. Can you look that up real quick, Drew?
It's close enough.
I'm telling you, that's what
he may not want his age thrown around like that, but he looks great. And
he's incredible.
He's one of the beloved Tigers
ever.
And
I'm really
just
happy.
Not many people tougher either.
No. Oh, no.
57.
57. So we were – I kind of went to 56 because it really kind of matched the radio station.
Well, Clyde Drexler rode the Duncan over Andre Turner. He rode it well. He did it. It happened. Okay, great. It didn't bother Andre Turner a lick.
No. Oh, no. Well, Andre Turner – like I said, he had 6 years in the NBA and then probably could have had more.
That's a good career.
But he then went and he played for 15 or 20 years, guys, in Europe. And at the end, he was making a lot of money. So I don't think, even though he's a worker, before he got the job at Mitchell, he was a coordinator of some kind for the Board of Education. So he had a full-time job. And he never just came home and didn't work. He's just one of those kinds of guys.
There's no cruise in him. He's a worker.
No, he is.
And he was one of the few people that could really, on the floor during a game, when he spoke, Keith Lee listened.
Oh, yeah. Well, Keith Lee listened to Otis Jackson, too. That was the
He
first
did.
pairing, remember? And then
But Andre could get his attention.
Andre could get his attention.
He could use his outside voice inside.
Just remember this. Andre didn't get that job right off the bat. People forget. Ricky McCoy, who for a long time was a Germantown policeman. I don't know where Ricky is these days. He may still be with the force for all I know. If anybody knows, text us on the First Bank text line. It's 70236. He had to beat out Ricky McCoy, who had been there for a year, knew the system that Dana was going to run, but did not have the talent.
Left behind by Otis at point guard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but he beat him out. But you'll recall there were some anxious moments that first year as a freshman for Andre. They called him Andre Turnover, remember? And then,
can you imagine him now in that climate, in the same kind of climate, Dave? I mean, that was a tough person. He had a thick hide and just roll right off. And people can say all they want about, but the social media, and it wasn't as noisy then. It was plenty noisy. I can remember it. You can remember it. I can remember not booing, but some pressure at the Coliseum, and pressure around town, columnists and a radio show with people would call in and voice approval and disapproval. But when he got settled
in truth, the one show was George and myself at that particular time. Mm-hmm. And I would say to you, people were more logical. They were fairer in their assessment. It's a much tougher atmosphere in this day and age. But you're right about him.
I thought he was plenty tough then.
He was a tough guy. He took it, and I'll never forget this. He had that moniker. He was still learning on the fly, and he had to miss a game. I want to say it was a Kansas game, and I want to say there was a death in his family, and it might have been his grandmother, and he did not go and make that trip. And Memphis looked lost without him. And after that, he just took off.
It was his team.
It was his team.
He was the quarterback. He was the quarterback. And when he came down and he put up that fist in the fist offense, magic was getting ready to happen in the offensive end.
It was. And he wasn't the quarterback, my friend. He was the general.
He was the little general. And Dave, I've told Drew this, and I've said this over there. Sometimes through the years, and old folks like us start making that fish story, make that little bitty crappie sound like Moby Dick.
Yeah.
It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger through the years. I have told Drew, and I've told people through the years, I don't care what you hear. I don't care what people say. Whenever they extol the virtues of a jam-packed roundhouse Mid-South Coliseum and it rocking and it at the top of its game, they're still underselling a little bit. They can't properly describe how pitched that was. It's no fish story at all.
No.
To the Tiger basketball years at the Coliseum, it was something to see, something to behold.
I think spot on there. People will talk about noise level of arenas. And, that was a part of the problem with the pyramid, was that the noise went straight up over the scoreboard up into the top parts of the pyramid. So you never really got
the inclinator
that loud, right, to the inclinator. And, that's seated 22,000. It would not get as loud as the 11,200 that you had at the Mid-South Coliseum. FedEx Forum has never been as loud as that. I will tell you the one building, though, and I think you went to a Tiger Louisville game in Freedom Hall. That
I did not, Dave.
You did not?
Oh, I've never been to Louisville, the city. No, I have not.
Oh, really?
I have not, no.
Well, I will tell you that place got even louder because it would seat more folks.
You know what I loved about it, and I just didn't know when my brain first started forming as a college basketball fan, but you'll remember Freedom Hall was very dimly lit, a little bit like Hofheinz. It could get a little.
It was better than Hofheinz. There's never been a building darker than Hofheinz.
All right, but it could get a little dim in there, and watching games on TV at center court. Remember, they had at the center court logo, like at the Coliseum, it said Mid-South Coliseum. Well, at center court at Freedom Hall, it said KFEC, Kentucky Fair Exhibition Center. Remember?
Right, sure.
And it said KFEC. For years, I was thinking, well, they really mean like KFC with, John Brown and the company out of Louisville. I was 10, 11, 12 years old. And I said, what's the E stand for? And I wasn't even close. It was Kentucky Fair and Exhibition Center.
Yeah.
Freedom Hall, beloved.
Oh, great place. And they had, so the Mid-South Coliseum had Fred Cook, still one of my all-time favorite people in the radio business.
Wasn't he great?
A great mentor for me. And Louisville had at Freedom Hall a guy named Johnny Tong. And he had a very distinct voice, different than Fred's, but deep, and the way their approach was totally different than the guttural screaming that you hear PA announcers do now. This was eloquently operatic. Well, Tong in particular, like operatically.
Dave, was he any kin to the radio man here in Memphis that was Dick Tong?
I don't know.
That did focus on racing with our friend Ron Martin?
I don't think so. I don't.
Dick and Ron? Okay.
I don't think so.
Because Dick had some pipes, too. I just
Oh, yeah.
And last name spelled T-O-N-G?
Yeah. You know what?
Huh.
I unfortunately, can't ask Ron.
I wonder.
Can't ask Forrest Goodman anymore. Those guys that did focus on racing, both passed a blessed memory, both of them, for sure.
I tell you who would know that answer, our buddy in radio sales, Morgan. Because he knew those guys. Morgan B. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Throwing about, I bet he would know. That's good memory lane.
Yeah, that really
I'm excited about baseball being here. We're going to talk some baseball. There's nothing like watching a game with a cold, frosty Coca-Cola or a little higher test if you'd like. Great weather and a little action on FanDuel Sportsbook. If you've never bet on baseball before, now's the perfect time. FanDuel's letting new users swing for the fences risk-free. You'll get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. And once you have an account, you can get up to $25 back each day in site credit if your same-game bet parlay falls one leg short. There's a reason why FanDuel Sportsbook's America's #1 sportsbook, and they are. And they're proud of it, and they thank you for making them that. The app is simple to use. They've got great odds and always-on promotions to let you get more action. And when you win, FanDuel will pay you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code CASH to get in on the action. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions do apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. They are at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com, and they are the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity April sales event. Great offers on all 2021 models and always very great deals and lease options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-362-8833. They're at 2600 Ridgeway. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that is that after a year's absence, we have spring football. We have a Friday night lights, and I can't wait to see exactly what we've gotten. We have seen the transfer portal taketh away, but tonight we'll get a chance to see some of the players that it has given to us, including Devontae Dobbs, the tackle from Michigan State, including the quarterback that came from Arizona. And that is the wonderful, I think, Grant Gunnell. But I can't wait to see Peter Parrish, too, because he's a transfer from LSU. And then there's the freshman, Seth Hennigan, and there's Keelan Brown. We'll see new running backs or guys that have been around for a while, like Drake Clark and Asa Martin. It is going to be fun tonight to watch guys who've made position switches, like Gabe Rogers and Darius Coffey, who were both in the backfield and now will become running back or slot receivers or something on the offensive side. It'll be a lot of fun to see what Dan Gladden does with wide receivers as he moves from tight end to wide receiver. We'll meet Brad Salem, who now is the tight ends coach that was a consultant before here. He was the last 10 years at Michigan State. New looks, but isn't that what spring football is all about? We see the changing of the guard, and there's always going to be some changing of the guard. It may be a little bit more dramatic now that they have this transfer portal, but there's always changes, and this is the first experiment with those changes. I'm glad it is here again.
I am too, Dave. I'm ready for football, and you know, if this were a day in the fall with weather like this, you know what we'd be saying? Feels like football season.
Yeah, sure.
It's going to feel like football season at the Liberty Bowl Stadium tonight. My top story, Grizzlies start the gauntlet tonight in Chicago. 7-gamer against 5 teams, Portland and Denver twice. Even if they go 0-7, won't be any criticism from me, I promise you. The Grizzlies have maxed out this year. They have overachieved. They've done all they can do, coaching and playing-wise, personnel-wise, with a lot of setbacks, and the future remains bright. I don't think they're going 0-7 on this road trip, and I don't think it would define them. I think their season has already been defined as one of success and another step toward someday, I think, making noise come playoff time.
Interesting. This is the last game on this trip, I think, that they will be favored. But along the lines of what you just said, I don't think there's any must-win games at all this year until you get into the play-in, because then you're eliminated if you don't win. Because the expectations of this year, the fact that they're over 500 at this point is pretty darn amazing, especially when you consider you've not seen Jaren Jackson at all and that Justice Winslow started to play and then stopped playing for various different reasons. I am not certain. But there are no more must-win games for this team because I think the overall consensus, as you've just said, they've already achieved everything that everybody believed that they would achieve.
Not top story of the day.
That comes from Atlanta, and it's not a bad story. It's a good story. It's an interesting story. I love it, in fact. An Atlanta high school has changed its name from Forest Hill Academy, which was named after Nathan Bedford Forrest, and we all are familiar with him from the statue going down, the Grand Wizard of the KKK. They changed that high school name to Hank Aaron New Beginnings Academy. I love it that it's after Hank Aaron, and I love that they put in new beginnings from where they came from. You couldn't have asked for a better scenario than that one.
And for the teams that didn't get to celebrate yesterday, UC 42 splashed all over baseball again today.
Great.
Including the Braves and the Cubs right now on the north side of Chicago at Wrigley. It looks great. It had to be a lot of pride for the Dodgers to all be able to put on that traditional uniform with that great number last night. My not top story, packed house the next 3 days in Starkville at Dudy Noble. Ole Miss versus State. Y'all play nice. Don't bring that Egg Bowl stuff to the baseball diamond. Egg Bowl last year was rather tame and civilized and well-behaved. Only 16,000 allowed at the game, but it should be a fun series. What if those two met in Omaha at the College World Series?
Be great. It'd be absolutely great.
Did you know that Dudy Noble at one time was the Ole Miss football coach?
I never knew that. Wow.
The famed baseball coach in the stadium, and he had a quote. He had a very famous quote. He goes, "I know what hell looks like. I was football coach at Ole Miss for 2 years."
Wow. Interesting, because that could never happen in this day and age. There is no way that a coach from Ole Miss could go and take a big role at Mississippi State. Could they? Could they?
I don't think it'd be that way, but it has happened in basketball with Kermit Davis Jr. He played at State. His dad coached at State, and he's head coach at Ole Miss.
Well, that's true. His dad coached there. It wasn't he who coached there, but he did play there.
No, but he played there.
But he had to take a long time between playing there
It was a long and winding road through Phillips County Community College and coaching at Idaho and at A&M with John David. Yeah, it was a circuitous route. For sure.
We do remind everybody that first game tonight between and in fact all three games, but Ole Miss and State starting right here on Sports 56, 98.5, 96.1. At 5:30, we're going to be off a little early to make way for David Kellum and what should be one great series. The opener is tonight. We got a busy show. We'll go to Vegas in a minute for the Golden Man from the Gold Sheet. Bruce Marshall will join us. We will talk with Gabe Kuhn at 4 o'clock about the spring game. We talked baseball with Tim Doolin at 4:30, and then Andy Schiffman will be here for a short shift at 5 o'clock. We'll talk NBA, and of course the Grizz are in his new hometown in Chicago to play the Bulls tonight. We are officially now underway on the Friday edition of Sports Time.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Receive a $20 Kroger or Walmart gift card, Grizzly swag, and BOGO McDonald's coupons while supplies last. Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pipkin, located at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
It's time, Memphis. Tune into Bally Sports Southeast and watch your next-gen Grizzlies tonight at 7 p.m. when they take on the Chicago Bulls, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out Grizzlies.com for more information.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stack. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
Right now, gorgeous, kind of cool spring day. It may rain a little bit tonight and early tomorrow morning, and then after that, the weather's going to be perfect. And I am urging you to get over to Family Leisure because I don't want you to miss out on a pool again this year. They went so fast last year, they sold out. They're going fast again. Please go see our friends at I-40 and Whidden Road. Same thing with spas. In stock now, ready for delivery. Swing in the spring with a brand new play gym, and I often will tell you, please do this. There is professional installation available. That's what you want when those young kids are going to be on those swings. You want to make sure they're put in right. And Family Leisure, so happy to do it. Oh, and by the way, the 2021 patio furniture in stock now, and on some select sets of this state-of-the-art furniture, you can get 20% off. All you got to do is get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together. To Vegas we go for the Golden Man from the Gold Sheet. That is Bruce Marshall. They've listed today the over and under most wins in a 17-game season. Let's not forget it's 17 games. The Kansas City Chiefs and Tampa Bay won 2. Chiefs at 12 wins, Bucks 11.5. The Green Bay Packers also are at 11 with Baltimore. The Rams at 10.5. Bills 10.5. Cowboys 9.5. Bruce Marshall, are those about right? Or maybe you made these lines.
No, I didn't know these NFLs. And yeah, the 17 is a little different there. So we got an extra game to think about this season. I will point out that the Chiefs, though it looks high, Andy Reid has gone over all 8 years. Season win projection for the Chiefs.
14 wins last year, remember?
Yeah. So if it's only 12, I mean, you'd think that might be something. And I bet that might get bet up a little bit. But I haven't looked at these too much in depth. We just did another show here in Vegas a few minutes ago, the last hour, and we talked a little bit about them. We saw the Redskins. They're not the Redskins. I'm sorry, Washington at 8, and we're thinking if Fitzpatrick is okay, Washington at 8 doesn't look like a bad over.
Wow.
To me, that's a real defense. We'll get more into this as we get, and we haven't even got to the draft yet because some things, and there's going to be other things going on. But offhand, those two kind of jumped out at me as possible overs.
Bruce, I love these. I love these lists. I love these release of these odds. You had ESPN today with their college football power index, whatever that is. They released what they think some over and unders for teams are. I love teams at 6.9 and 6.1. I've been doing a lot of football, but I've never seen a 0.1 or a 0.9. But anyway, I like that. I like what in spring football kind of starts it tonight. The Tigers with Friday night stripes at the Liberty Bowl. It kind of starts the off-season dance, and it builds and it builds and it builds. Where does Bruce Marshall go for his best information? And I don't mean this flippant, but do you read Phil Steele? Do you read all the where does Bruce Marshall go to pack all that stuff in that gigantic IBM brain of yours?
Well, I'll do most of it in the summer. I'll look at all of them in the summer. Some are a little better or worse. I have my own people that we talk to as well. So if you can access local newspapers that you can online now, you can get pretty good info that way. But usually, it's a few different preview sources during the summer. I don't pay too much attention to the spring stuff, and it's because so many schools do it so differently, and a lot of players are held out. I think spring football as a handicapping thing is pretty useless, I think. But it's just part of a puzzle which is why in college football I won't even start looking at it more until we get closer to the summer, because that's when we can start to digest more information.
You mentioned the draft. And I think you were on a sort of prediction show when you mentioned that, right? Do you guys, or does Vegas take action on who goes where in the draft?
Oh, yeah, Dave, they do. I
didn't know that.
Phenomenon in the last couple of years. Draft betting has really accelerated. It did last year, too, even though there wasn't any in person at the sports books, but online, the people with mobile apps and things, it was pretty big, and it was remember, last year they weren't playing any games in late April, and the draft really got a lot of betting.
We remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So, everybody knows Trevor Lawrence is going to go first. How Vegas takes a bath on that one, don't they? Or is it got to be a bunch? Is it a parlay?
No, there probably wouldn't be one about Lawrence. The odds would be just too overwhelming. But they'll bunch like how many quarterbacks go in the first round, how many different position groups go. They'll do by conferences. I mean, how many of the SEC players go in the first round? How many, Alabama players go in the first round?
Wow.
How many tight ends run? I mean, usually every position group has its own. Quarterbacks for sure. And this year it's kind of interesting because it looks like you might go 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks. Who knows what for? I mean, it's there really is a premium now, and I think there are probably still a few more trades to be made before the draft that could alter how some of these teams pick. So but to answer your question, Dave, it's a lot of draft props. Very big business now at the sports books.
So I would assume, I think
Bruce,
there's 4 quarterbacks or 5 quarterbacks that'll go first round, right?
It might be more than that.
Might be more than that. It depends. I mean, how and the order too, the sequence now. I mean, the buzz now seems to be that Justin Fields might be at 3. I mean, there's a thought for a while that Mac Jones was going to be at 3 if the Niners stayed there. Now there's talking about Fields. There's Jones, there's Trey Lance. The top 2, it's Lawrence and almost certainly Zach Wilson for the Jets, the BYU quarterback.
Right.
But there's 5 right there, and I actually think this is a deeper quarterback class than a lot of people think, and there's some others out there who might be worth a look. Although to tell you the truth, I'm not sure if I've got to double check and make sure some of these guys aren't coming back to college for another year like they could. Some of those others that I thought were, I don't even know if Kyle Trask is for sure there, but I mean, there was a time last year where they thought he'd be a top 5 pick.
He's in the draft, and there are people that are working him into somewhere in the 20s. I love Ian Book. I love him as a competitor. I love how hard he would play. Now I don't know if that how hard you play in a competitor gets you drafted in the first round, but a guy that he was. Boy, got to be careful with this. A guy he was a little compared to in college at Notre Dame, Joe Montana. He didn't go in the first round either, and I'm not saying Ian Book is Joe Montana. This time last year, Bruce, there was some real value out there if you knew to bet the under for season win totals on the Patriots and on the Cowboys.
Yeah, and a lot of those things, I mean, that's the trouble. By this time last year, we knew Brady was gone from the Patriots. We did know that Cam would come in, not that made a lot of difference there, but we also didn't know at this time last year that Belichick was going to have a lot of guys opt out on his defense. So things last year maybe was just an outlier, and we just don't look at it because there were some strange things going on. But you're right. I mean, you usually do get some value. Another team we talked about a little bit, and I'm not sure where they put the Giants, but I'm kind of interested in the Giants too. They've made some nice upgrades in their skill position people. If Barkley is healthy, I mean, this Daniel Jones is like on the clock this year. He's got to make something happen, and their GM Dave Gettleman is under fire. But they look like they've made some moves. That whole NFC East is interesting with Washington, perhaps Dak apparently coming back at full strength at Dallas. We think full strength. And Philadelphia looking like they might really be bad, which the Eagles were last year, but I don't think they're going to be any better this year.
I'm curious if you know it all, and obviously this would be late round, but we're talking quarterbacks. What about Brady White, the Memphis quarterback, all-time winningest quarterback in Memphis history?
I think he'll get picked, a later round pick probably, maybe even a third-day pick, but I think he'll probably get picked. And, he's another one who might be, I think he's maybe has a chance. I think Sam Ehlinger from Texas is a gamer, and I'm not. But the overarching thing that I'd be concerned with here, and I don't know that there's that big a difference between, say, Mac Jones and Ehlinger, really. Mac Jones had a great team around him, and he's got NFL receivers. He's got a big NFL running back. He had every advantage. Listen, Alabama quarterbacks, long time. I mean, it's been a long time since one of those has made an impact in the NFL, and I'm not sure Tua is either. And when you're surrounded by such great talent in college, you usually don't have that edge in the NFL. That worries me a bit about Justin Fields, too. He checks every box, but he's been playing on a great team. I guess you could say the same about Trevor Lawrence, too, and certainly about Mac Jones. But the dynamics change. You get from a powerhouse team in college, suddenly you're playing in the NFL, and your teammates aren't all better than the other team like they might have been in college for some of these guys. We've seen this with Alabama guys a lot. That's why I'm a little skeptical about Jones going so high.
But by the way, the Giants over under 7.
Is that right? 7 out of 17. So it'd be
right.
Yeah, Saquon better be 100% healthy, because I just think Daniel Jones is going more toward Christian Ponder than he is going toward Eli Manning, Bruce.
Well, if you look at the East, it's the Cowboys 9.5, then Washington 8, the Giants and the Eagles are both 7. So there's not a lot of love for a division, which they shouldn't have, because that division was terrible last year.
I like the team that Bruce liked. I liked Washington. Bruce, who's winning the college basketball transfer portal?
SEC is winning it. They are cleaning up house, and I think one particular is Arkansas. And Eric Musselman's done this before. I mean, wherever he goes. I mean, Nevada, he lived on it there, and we saw what he's been able to do at Arkansas in the first couple of years. But he is really cleaning up now. And some of these guys, the guys he's coming in, these are like mature players, over 21 years old, like fifth-year senior types, who are going to be, I mean, this isn't like a freshman coming in. These are older kids. Audis Tony, maybe the best player at Pitt, 6'6" wing, is going to be very interesting for him. Chris Likes, who missed most of last season for Miami for Jim Larinaga, he would have been his best player last year. Point guard. Stanley Umude, over 21 point per game score, South Dakota, might have been, well, I mean, he's right alongside Max Abmas as maybe the best player in the Summit League last year. You plug him in. I mean, those are 3 big transfers, right? I mean, these guys are all going to play, and they're all accomplished. So he's doing a great job. Brooks, the North Carolina big guy. By the way, Hubert's not doing a great job keeping some of these kids. He moves down to Ben Howland at Mississippi State. I think Nate Oates picked up a really good one in Noah Gurley out of Furman, one of the best players in the Southern Conference. He's going to perfect sort of Nate Oates, Bama sort of player. He'll be able to stick him in, and others as well. But I think Musselman, once again, and he's really cleaning up like he usually does, but he's doing an exceptional job in the transfer market in the portal this year.
As you start to rank your top 25 in football, and we just heard Brett talk about the power ranking that ESPN has, how much portal studying have you got to do? Because that is the portal class is going to be every bit as important as the recruiting class, the high school class.
Oh, it'll probably be more in a lot of cases, especially in hoops for sure. By the way, I should mention Kentucky too. Kellen Grady Davidson, Tashweeby from West Virginia, Calipari's cleaned up as well in the SEC. But no, it is, and that's the one thing. We've got to look more in football too. There'll be several of these. It's not going to be quite as dramatic as basketball, but no, a lot of these guys are going to make more of an impact than freshmen would right away. I mean, absolutely. And this will really be true in basketball next year, even more so than this past year. But football as well. And so the transfer portal is a big thing, and that's one thing I'll be, picking up as we get a little bit further into the summer here with the college football. But it's a different dynamic, and I don't know. It's supposed to be a one-year thing with the way they've loosened the stuff that the pandemic year. I wouldn't be surprised if there are looser transfer regulations going forward. Once they've let this genie out of the bottle, it's going to be hard to put it back in, especially if the players, threaten lawsuits and things. So this may be the way things go, a form of this from this point forward.
Well, the way I perceive it at the moment, you're going to get a move once without sitting out in a 4-year career. If you are a grad student, you would get another. And I think it was Ryan Silverfield himself who said, in the end, this could be that a player could move whenever the heck they want to. Do you foresee that could be the case?
It might be, and I think this is a bad omen for the mid-majors, especially in hoops, who are already losing guys. I mentioned a couple, Furman, South Dakota, losing their best players. There's others. And this is another way for the Power 6 conferences to just squeeze the life, and especially when the NCAA tournament. Football, they've already got the monopoly, so that doesn't matter as much. Basketball, slots into the big dance. What I don't want to see is, the mid-major ranks be reduced to just one bid each. Thankfully, the last few years, most of the mid-major leagues have been getting, the better ones have been getting at least two bids. But I think the Power 6 schools just would love that to get down to one. And if they start cornering the market on all these good players, that's going to make it that much harder for the mid-majors, I think. So that's what I'm worried about going forward, at least on the hoop side.
He is Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet. Have a great weekend, my friend. How do we get more of you?
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. We got picks and everything. We got the baseball, we got basketball, we got hockey, we got soccer. Goldsheet.com, my picks there, also Vegas Insider and donbest.com.
And with all the stuff like FanDuel and everything else that's out there, you've never needed a guy like Bruce Marshall more than you need him now. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it.
Okay, Dave.
That is our guy on the Vegas front. He makes the lines. That is Bruce Marshall. I am so glad golf is back, and I am so glad Miramichi is back front and center. You know all about this beautiful golf course that sits a little north of Memphis on 330 acres. It provides 7,400 yards of championship-level golf surrounded by absolute natural beauty. It really does. Miramichi listed in Golf Week's best 2020 golf courses that you can play. State by state, they were up there, and you would know why. The minute you walk on that golf course, you will see the beauty. And now at Miramichi, you get the best prices you could. Seniors can golf on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, including a golf cart and range balls for $30. Standard weekday rates, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, as low as $32. Friday, $44. Even on the weekend, they're under $50. And you won't believe how good this golf course looks. They have a new super, and they have redone the patio totally. Revamped bathrooms up there, full-service bar. They've got 2 televisions to watch games. On weekends, there will be music with bands starting on April the 30th, and there will be food and beverage. You don't even have to play golf to come and enjoy this incredible view. The best patio view of any golf course, I promise you, in Memphis. It is at Miramichi. Please go check it out. You will thank me later. Speaking of golf, what's going on in Harvard Town right now? There's an amazing story. We'll tell you about it in a minute.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Receive a $20 Kroger or Walmart gift card, Grizzly swag, and BOGO McDonald's coupons while supplies last. Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pipkin, located at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
Golfers, tee it up this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with the hottest new arrivals from Ping. Introducing the new Ping G425 series. The G425 drivers have the highest MOI and is the most forgiving driver in golf. Increase your swing and ball speed with proven Ping innovations with 3 models to fit all golfers. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
A little bit earlier, Brett was talking about watching baseball, having a cold one. His choice was Coke. Mine's going to be Tiger Tail. I am in love with this malt liquor that, by the way,
Look at you.
Is the official malt craft beer of the University of Memphis. How many schools have their
now
own
you stay out
official
of it
craft
during
beer?
the game,
Oh, no. I'm not Harry. I'm not Jack Buck or Harry Carey. No. I will be until afterwards. And then I want a Tiger Tail. It comes in 16-ounce six-packs. Not your typical malt liquor. It is crafted with a bold and smooth flavor. Got a great unreal finish, which makes it so easy drinking, and it's still got 7.5% alcohol. It really is a lot of fun and so good now. Started, you could only get it in the brewery, the Grind City Brewing Company. Then Tiger Tail went to a lot of different spirit shops. Now you can even get it at Kroger. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing, they are taking care of beerness in Memphis. I'll tell you who's making waves with his son on the bag. That is Stuart Sink. Yesterday, the veteran who did win a major, thanks to Tom Watson, at the British. Yesterday, he shot a 63, Brett Norsworthy. Today, Stuart Sink, with 1 hole left, again is 8 under par for the day, on his way to another 63. 16 under. That is 5 strokes better than Corey Connors, the Canadian, who's at 11. Cam Smith, Colin Morikawa, Wesley, those are at 2 under. Wesley Bryan, Tom Hoagie, Sun Jae Im, your man, and Emiliano Grillo, they are at 8 under par.
How do we let Colin Morikawa get by all of us? But you're right, Stuart Sink. He piped his drive on 18 right down Central Ave, so he's going to have a fairly easy iron into the green there on Calabogie Sound.
What a great story!
And it is a great story, and he's 47 now. Just he's putting for birdie on 18.
How about
I just
that?
Checked in.
Go get it.
And it's not a 2-miler either. He's got a chance, but he's 47. He's won a lot on tour. Won the major at the Open Championship in 2009 when Tom Watson just really couldn't close. Stuart Sink had the heartbreak playoff loss in 2001 at Southern Hills in the U.S. Open, if you'll recall, to Ray Teef Goosen when he missed about a 2.5, 3-footer. I mean, it wasn't Scott Hoke range, but it wasn't very, very far that Sunday afternoon. I was there, didn't get to stay for the playoff as they had the 18-hole playoff next day. He missed the putt on 18, but he still has played well. He's got his young son on the bag.
263s? Are you kidding me? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's great play.
You know how
have you ever seen Stuart Sink without his hat on?
I have. Yeah, he looks like he's 80.
And the sunburn and the suntan from always wearing a hat, because that makes him a lot of money wearing that cap.
Right.
Man, it looks like the Coneheads on Saturday Night Live.
That's good. I like that. You know how long he's been out there? He graduated from Georgia Tech in 95. He has been on the tour for 26 years.
Just a delightful person and beloved on the tour. And look, he's just raking in now just for fun money.
Oh, yeah.
Life's been good for a while.
Oh, yeah. Life's been real good. And I love it when they put their kids or their wife or their dad on the bag. I just, you don't see that in most sports, but it makes it just seem, I don't know,
You
more
wrestled
human.
with taking Corey Connors, didn't you?
I did. I wrestled with
that.
I
went back and listened to the segment after I was told y'all laughed at my pick.
So
I went back and listened to it.
So tell me the truth, because I can't really remember.
John Goen laughed, and you
laughed.
went, wow. It was simultaneous.
I went, wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and
you know
and
what?
sent Drew
Look,
scurrying to make sure my text was correct.
I like him. I've been bragging about him ever since the President's Cup, but he was so god-awful at Augusta. I wasn't sure he'd be able
First
to
cut he's missed in forever. I can tell you now, if I have the chance next week in the pairs in the team competition, I will take Be-On and Sung Jae-im next week in New Orleans. I'm calling it now.
Iman, that's where you're going? That sounds like a disc jockey. Iman.
Be-On. Iman was David Bowie's wife.
Oh, there you go.
Be-On and Sung Jae-im will be my team next week in New Orleans. When in New Orleans badly needs that tournament to do well because it's taken a lot of hits.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. It's the weird, it's gimmicky though. That's the problem kind of. This portion of the show brought to you by Supercuts. Go to Supercuts. We got date nights again, right? Soon the bar's going to be open all the time. We got festivals coming. You want to look good, don't you? You got to go to Supercuts. Now, Supercuts still has, by the way, the Safe Salon commitment in place. Go read more about the commitment. It's a partnership with infectious disease doctors. They've made it safe. There's social distancing. There's a new way to sanitize. The Czech family, which owns all 15 locations in Memphis, well, you know how seriously they've taken this. And once they open back up, they have stayed open. They've done good business. They need people. They're looking for employees, so go to supercuts.com. You can find out how to get a job if you're looking for one, too. Or if you just want to find the nearest one to you, to make an appointment to look good. Because every time you walk out of a Supercuts, I promise you will look good. 1 hour in the books. When we return, we'll talk Tiger football and this spring game with a guy who really understands the game and the offensive line, the one and only Gabe Kuhn. He comes your way in a minute.
Hi, folks. Good news from the Chevy Sheriff for truck buyers. It's Chevy Truck Month at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Rebates up to $7,500 and discounts high as $10,000. Bankrupt, bad credit, it's okay. Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good used truck? Remember, Sunrise Chevy specializes in used cars and trucks under $15,000. Chevy trucks cost less at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, partner. Find new roads to 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
The thing about comparing rates at Progressive.com is that by now you've heard a lot of ads about comparing rates at Progressive.com. We probably don't even need the words comparing rates anymore to remind you that seasoning steaks at Progressive.com is an easy way to save on car insurance, or that swimming in trousers helps you find the lowest rate. And that's the thing about foraging for truffles. You've heard a lot of ads about standing tiptoe on a cinder block. Compare rates and sing softly to a wounded field mouse and save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Receive a $20 Kroger or Walmart gift card, Grizzly swag, and BOGO McDonald's coupons while supplies last. Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pipkin, located at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
20
2021 is finally here. Might I suggest we start the wonderful new year with a makeover for your beautiful house. I'm Brian Elder. I'm a roofer. I fix roofs. Don't let them tell you that it has to be replaced when all it may need is some love. 867-0303. Let me love on your roof. I've made quite the reputation over the last decade as the guy to call after the insurance company denies the claim. Overturning a claim that has gone bad is an art form where you argue county code, manufacturer specs, and details of your policy that they have to abide by. So let me see it first. If I say it's a claim, it's a claim. 867-0303. Money is free at Brian Elder Roofing with 0% financing for half a decade. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you a quote right over the phone. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in on another glorious day. Hopefully it'll be a glorious night at the Liberty Bowl. We missed the spring game last year. We've got one tonight. That is for sure. Some news, by the way. Grizzlies will be in Chicago. They're actually favored. Maybe the only game on this road trip that they are favored to win. But now Brandon Clark is not going to play, looks like. We'll find out from Andy Schiffman at 5 o'clock if that is indeed going to be the case. No, absolutely for sure, there will not be a Justice Winslow tonight. I don't think D'Anthony Melton's going to play either, and that's too bad you're not going to see Clark because he's been really good in the games that he has played of late. There's one note for the Tiger basketball team, and that is Landers Nolly said he's coming back today. So now we know for sure with Williams, Quinones, and Landers Nolly, the three best players on the team are back. You put in Earl Timberlake, who is a five-star by some, a guy that was going to be a lottery pick till he got injured at Miami last year. Wow. You are talking about the core of what could be really, really good. Still no word yet on what the Lawsons will do, but I understand that if you add all the guys that are coming in with Timberlake and the young man from Hampton, and you throw in the Lawsons, I think that would be the number 5 class for Penny Hardaway, who a couple of years ago, of course, had the number 1 class. I just saw this thing that Damian Baugh put out there, too, about going to TCU, or maybe TCU put it out. But over the last 2 years, the Tigers are 42-18, and they did win the NIT. So there are some nice numbers that go with all of the success. Tonight, will there be football success? As the Friday night Stripes begins at 7 o'clock. I know there is going to be one guy interested in seeing it all. He'll be there, former Tiger O lineman Gabe Kuhn joins us now. You hear him every day on Middays with John Harden. Thanks for giving us some of your time today. What's the number one thing you're looking for tonight in this spring contest?
So, hello, guys. Hope you're doing well. Like everybody, I'm looking for the quarterback battle. So that's kind of boring. But I say besides that, the number one thing I'm looking for is how the defense looks right now. I think you have a good influx of older guys. Thomas Pickens coming back for another year. J.J. Russell, Jacoby Francis, some guys that have been there for 5 and 6 years. So you want to see what that defense looks like early against an offense that doesn't have a big influx of experience. So I think my biggest thing outside of the quarterback battle, outside of what they look like right at this moment, is going to be, is this defense going to take a massive step forward. Because last year, you look at what they did. They were not all that great at the beginning of the season. They continue to improve throughout the year, and I think a lot of that you can attribute to the fact that Mike McIntyre only got to do Zoom interviews to try to install a defense,
right.
And they're switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4. So I want to see what it looks like. You had last season, you had fall camp and everything to get through. Now you get a spring. You want to see what that defense looks like.
Did you ever have a spring game where there was a quarterback battle, or was it always kind of the incumbent had already won it?
So that's a great question because is generally the incumbent was in there already. When Paxton, my first time coming around, Coach Fuente had decided that Paxton Lynch was the guy going forward. Jacob Karam, while he had started the year before, was in a situation where he was going to be replaced by the guy with more natural tools, by the guy that was bigger, had a lot of good things going for him, and Fuente had made that decision. And then the next time around, you had Riley.
Yep.
Riley Ferguson. And while you can talk about, oh, well, he had to go earn that spot, I think Coach Norvell, given that it was a new system, already had his lean that direction. We had David Moore on the roster. We had Brady Davis on the roster. But you sort of knew the lean was already to Riley. But this time around, it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of people think that Grant Gunnell will be the guy when it's said and done. But there needs to be no generalizations, no rash, thoughts about what happens tonight. Because my guess, and I went to one scrimmage this spring. Luckily, Coach Silverfield let me show up and watch, and it was Keelan Brown that went out first with the first group. So I wouldn't make any generalizations about who the quarterback will be come fall based on who runs out there first tonight.
Ryan Silverfield last night, and I pressed him a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. I said, "Come on, 4, all of them that close?" And he said, "Absolutely." So, we'll get a better sense of that tonight, and we're not going to get an announcement until maybe a week before the season of who that guy is going to end up being. I've often thought about asking you this, and I never have, not even off the record. If you feel uncomfortable, don't answer. But Jacob Karam was clearly not as good as Paxton Lynch, and yet there were a lot of fans that were really upset when Lynch replaced Jacob Karam. Tell me what the players felt about all of that, because you know what? Justin Fuente took some heat for this.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm not uncomfortable with this at all. So some of the upperclassmen, some of the seniors that were close with Jacob definitely went to Coach Fuente and said, we want him to be starting. And Coach Fuente, to be completely honest, you would think that maybe he would take the reception a little better, given that these are some, leaders on the team. But no, he did not take it well. He was very, very angry that a bunch of people had showed up. He was mad that people had showed up and questioned his decision making. But the thing with the fans, in regards to why they felt that way, is people want to see instant gratification. And maybe Jacob Karam in some of those games in 2013 could have put them in a better position to win, given that he had experience. But at the same time, when you're building a program from nothing, you have to make decisions that are better for the future. And not a lot of people grasp onto that because they want that instant gratification. And I think to a certain extent, some of the players, the older guys, had that same thought process because they're on their way out. They want to win now. They want to get to a bowl game. They hadn't been to a bowl game. So I think some of the fan thought process and some of the older players' process on that team, or thought process on that team, was very similar.
Gabe, you mentioned the defense, and you get around all the defensive coaches now, and it's just a big look how tough it is on us now. The rules change. They let you guys like Gabe Kuhn in the offensive line. They let them hold. They don't want the quarterback hit. They're blowing the whistle before you get to him. If you drive him to the ground, you get a penalty and targeting and all this. But you're right about this defense. If it improves a little, and I know the quickest way to improve a secondary is to improve a pass rush. If the Tigers can do that, if they could hold teams to, heck, 31 a game, look what it would do.
Right. And you look at some guys that won't be playing. I think the D-line will have some really good veteran guys. You look at Morris Joseph. I think that's a possible first-team all-conference guy. He won't be playing tonight.
Right.
John Tate's coming back for his 5th year. There's some guys up front that can go get a pass rush for you. So I'm excited to see that. But the one thing you talk about last year, and you look early in the season, some of the woes they had, it was just miscommunications in the secondary more than anything else. Letting people behind them, not knowing their assignments. And I think tonight we'll be able to see where they're at in regards to that. We'll be able to see, are they on the same page in the back end? Because you can talk about a pass rush all you want, but a pass rush only does so much in regards to saving you if your defensive backs just let people run free.
Yeah, that's your
so
big,
I want to see tonight.
That's your big insurance. And there's a couple of guys that I'm really curious about seeing. One is Leandre Thomas, who, as a young player, both coaches that have been DCs have told me this kid could be playing on Sundays, and that's Leandre Thomas. The other is the kid that transferred from Michigan State, Julian Bennett. I'm looking forward to seeing those two guys, and apparently they're good enough that they took Gabe Rogers and they took and Darius Coffey, and they moved them to the offensive side of the ball. Is that because they're so deep in the secondary, or is that because the head coach is an offensive guy and he wants more talent on that side?
I think they need some right now with Taj Washington being out, out of the fold at USC. They need more depth on the offensive side of the ball with wide receivers. So I think that's part of it. But they also do have a ridiculous amount of depth and experience in the secondary right now. Tyrez Lindsey, Jacoby Francis, Leandre Thomas, all back there for 6 years, right? So I think they're in a position where they feel comfortable enough to at least experiment with some of the guys that may not be getting playing time. And it's actually fun. You brought up Leandre, and obviously he opted out last year, didn't play the season. He is easily one of the most athletic guys in the American Athletic Conference. This is a guy who, when I was there, we used to go every once in a while to the rec, and shoot some hoops, play a little basketball. This is a guy who can go up there and do a full windmill dunk at 5'11". This is a guy who's a absolute freak of nature in regards to being an athlete. So I'm very, very anxious to see what he can do.
Gabe, in the old days, not a lot, but some of the motivation around the spring game, victorious team, 8 steak, defeated team, 8 hot dogs, or something like that. That was kind of the pecking order. Really don't do that anymore, and I don't really know how seriously some adhered to it back in the day. But you see teams, and is it more of an August thing or a spring thing that the coaches have to remind you, y'all are on the same team. Quit trying to take somebody's head off on your team.
That's definitely, I would say that's a fall thing. But in spring, you have a lot of guys who are getting their first opportunities with seniors, moving on, graduating.
They're
have
hungry.
Some guys who are stepping into a situation where they're very hungry and they want to earn a spot. So at times, you can get into it during spring practice, but I'll tell you one thing, and this is undefeated. I'm telling you right now, fall camp, it is undefeated. That heat makes people angry. that 100-degree floppy
chafe down to the ankle.
Absolutely, it just angers the heck out of people. So I'd say fall camp is when you get the feistiness, but spring camp has its share of it.
But Dave, I saw the great 30 for 30 again. It was on sometime in the wee hours of last night on the 85 Bears.
I watched some of that last night myself. Yeah.
And Ditka had to go to Buddy Ryan and go, quit beating the hell out of my offense.
Well, Buddy Ryan wanted to beat him up too because Buddy and Mike just didn't see eye to eye. But yeah, I did watch that, and there's some poignant moments with Singletary and Buddy Ryan there that actually can bring a tear to your eye if you get a chance to watch that 30 for 30. That is great. All right, so you are the best that we know about the offensive line because you played it. So tell me what you know about Devontae Dobbs and what you know about Jacarius Robinson, the two transfers now, one from Michigan State, the other a center that comes from Cincinnati.
Okay, so what I can tell you about Jacarius Robinson, I'll start there. Really good player. 24 starts at Cincinnati, and I know I'm an interior lineman, so I definitely have a little bit of bias here, but there's nothing more important offensively than an experienced center. Obviously, a quarterback goes a long way, I'm not going to lie. But an experienced center does a whole lot for you. He gets everybody on the same page, and especially when you have guys, that are going to be thrust into positions that they haven't been in. You don't have a whole bunch of experience up there on the O-line this year. You have Obina Eze off to TCU. You have Manny Arona Lopez, who started 20-plus games, graduated. So you need a guy like Jacarius Robinson to step in and be able to get everybody on the same page. So I think that's an absolute plus. I thought that was a great get by the staff. Now, Devontae Dobbs. Last I checked, he is still getting into the swing of things. He's trying to get the playbook, trying to understand everything. Jonah Gamble actually should probably be there at left tackle tonight with the first group. That does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that is sewn up for him. But Devontae Dobbs is a guy that they're still trying to get acclimated to the system and get him into the swing of things. So I think he'll get a lot of playing time tonight. You'll see him with the second group at left tackle, but I would not expect him to be with the first group right away.
Dave, every now and then you get that extraordinary player that can start as a true freshman in the first game as an offensive lineman. But more times than not, it takes experience. How many games do you think you needed as a starter before you thought, I got the hang of this, I can play big-time college football?
I would probably say – that's a great question. I would probably say you get to about that 12-game, 13-game mark. Once you get about 2 springs into starting, learning who's playing around you, you start to get the hang of things. It's not easy, game one, to step in there and be the best you, right? My first game, I still think my worst game was against Austin Peay of all people. So you look at about 12, 13 games into a starting career. That's when you're going to get some of the best ball out of your guy. But then as soon as you get about 2-3 years, if you have a 3-year starter that understands what he's supposed to be doing and it has the same staff surrounding him and the same guys surrounding him, you're going to get even better ball out of that guy. But I'd say going into your prime happens about 12 or 13 games into your sort of starting career.
Well, you just mentioned a minute ago a guy we have not talked about yet, but that is on that line that did play as a freshman, that is an incredible athlete that has been undersized but has had the same coach. If you go back to Ryan Silverfield being the offensive line coach, Dylan Parham.
Yep.
And how important is he in this thing?
He's going to be massive. He is beefed up to 305.
Really?
Is,
you're kidding me. So he's gained 20 pounds?
I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding. He's huge. He is thickened up. He looks all the part of an old lineman. And there was a transition for him, right? Because coming from tight end, he was about 240 when he first got there. And the first time he started, believe it or not, about 275, right?
Right.
So this is a guy who's used to playing at a smaller weight. But I went out there, like I said, watched their scrimmage, and he looks just as athletic as ever, about 305.
Wow.
He's so experienced. They've moved him over to right guard. I don't know if that will stick, but he's a guy that's going to be able to play whatever you want him to play. Left guard, right tackle, possibly left tackle if there's some injuries. So very excited for him. I think he's the type of guy that could be an all-conference guy again this year and maybe get a couple looks for the NFL with how much weight he's put on, with how athletic he is.
That is great. And have you seen him in person? Did you see him at the one practice you got to attend?
Yes. Yes, I did.
And I bet you said, "Look at you, big guy, all buffed up."
Absolutely, man. He is swole up. They have done a ridiculous job in getting him to that point.
He can be an NFL guy, right?
Yes, I believe so. Absolutely. When you talk about a guy who transitioned from being a tight end, who already has that natural athleticism in the feet, who beefs up to 300 pounds, and by the way, it's not a fat 300 pounds. This is a very built 305 pounds that he's holding right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a shot. Now, that doesn't mean day one, day two pick, but that does mean a substantial shot. Maybe a late day three guy, maybe a undrafted free agent. But I think he's a guy that after his career at Memphis will definitely get a shot somewhere in the NFL.
This line, you mentioned the losses. Arona Lopez, who was really, really good. Eze goes to TCU. But with what you've got, Parham coming back now weighing 305, and we've talked about Robinson. We've talked about Dobbs. He's still going to learn. You mentioned Gamble. Can this line or will this line be better, especially at the run game, than they were a year ago?
You certainly hope so. And you know what? I think it's too early to tell right this second. You still have guys that are looking to get experience and are some guys that are going into their first spring as the starter. You look at Jonah Gamble, you look at Jacob Likes at center right this second. You have guys that need to get experience one way or another. So I think it'll be a learning process. But I think certainly they can be better than they were the second half of last year. Last year, for whatever reason, back half of the schedule, it was a struggle consistently to get a push up front. You hope that they can get that done. You hope that they can be better than they ended off last year. I know they have a bad taste in their mouth from all that. But again, I think there's a learning process that they're going to have to go through, and I think I'll have a better feel on whether or not they'll be ready to go as we get into fall camp.
And after tonight, the only real break from now through the end of the bowl game for the football team. They'll get a little break, have finals, get to go home a little bit, report back Memorial Weekend, and then it's on.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was funny. I don't know if you remember this, Dave, but the first spring when Coach Norvell took over, do you remember the spring game where there was 4 false starts before we even started the game?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
This is what
just so you know, that's the way the Larry Porter era started during the game.
Well, that's fun. I was going to say, you look at what we're going to see tonight. I don't think there should be any rash thoughts, any crazy generalizations made about any team based on the spring game. And I just wanted to point that out because I remember that. And there was a point during that game where we were terrified that we were going to stink and we were fine that next year. Right.
And let me just say this, and you've been so kind. You join us during the regular season. I'm assuming that'll happen again this year. You could be a symbol, honestly, for the renaissance of Memphis football.
Cornerstone.
Because
yes,
it began with you. You're the one of the few guys that started with Fuente and went to Norvell, but you were really on the more productive Fuente teams. So you really saw most of the good. So you are really the symbol of the renaissance of Tiger football.
Right, and first year I started, we got to 10 games, 10 wins. So that was always fun.
What was your record? What was your record total?
When I got done, we were my class was the most winning class in Memphis football history. So I don't know if we have been surpassed. We might have, given how good we have been lately. All right, Drew. chime in just once to hate on me. I get it. But no.
How many wins did you? What's your record?
But you want that. You want it to keep climbing on that. You want the next class to be the winningest.
10-3 freshman year.
Yeah.
Would have been 8-5 or no, 9-3 the next year, or 9-4 possibly.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing the math.
I'm doing it. Come on.
Okay. And then the third year would have been 8-5.
Okay.
And then the last year we were 10-2 because we missed the UCF game.
So that's 14 and 19, 27, 37 and 14. You actually 670 right there.
Pretty good.
Darn right.
He got the wins
Take it
right,
any
but
day.
Gabe, you actually were 8-6 that year.
Oh,
Drew, what's with you, man? Well,
I'm
no,
just saying-
you're wrong. You're wrong.
Well,
You're wrong.
No, you were 8-6.
You're wrong.
Y'all played 12
No.
games, and then the conference championship and the bowl game.
No, we didn't.
The
You're
UCF
thinking
game
I
got
wasn't
rained
there
out,
that
didn't
year.
it?
I wasn't there that year. 8-5.
Are you
It was
sure?
8-5 because we went to the Boca Raton Bowl and got absolutely smacked by Western Kentucky.
Yes.
8-5.
That was the Brahms team, right? That Western
Yep,
Kentucky.
Brahms team.
Yeah.
Forrest Lamp caught. I remember Forrest Lamp caught a left tackle screen for a touchdown. That was not a fun night.
Yeah,
but
they wouldn't have been going to the
nonetheless,
conference
8-5.
championship, Drew, with only 8 wins.
We went to the conference championship with only 8 wins one year.
Yeah, that was Brady White's first year.
Okay.
That was Darrell Henderson.
Okay, that's my fault.
Okay. 37
Drew.
and 14. That's actually bad. That's
good stuff, Gabe.
That's like 70% right there. That's good stuff. So 37. I think you've been surpassed though. 37 wins. I think.
Yeah, no, I would imagine.
But you are.
They have more
I like
chances.
that. I'm going to start calling you the symbol of the Tigers' Renaissance.
Oh wow!
How about
I like
that?
I can deal with that one,
Okay.
Dave.
Yeah, well, that'll be part of your new intro. Thank you, thank you, my friend.
All right,
Thank you, Gabe.
We do appreciate it.
Appreciate you so much.
That is Gabe Kuhn. You can listen to him every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 until 3, right here with Johnny Radio, every day on Sports 56. This portion of our show is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I'm so proud that they have been a part of this family right here at Sports 56 for about, 7, 8 years now. It's been a long time. They are such good folks. And in that time, I've seen the growth, but I've seen so many of the same people there. A lot of them have been there for 13 to 14 years. And when it comes to this new luxury car, Genesis, I always say best bang for the buck of any luxury car out there. And people who drive luxury cars, they tell me that all of the time. They're so good there that out of 355 Genesis dealers, they're in the top 50 in the country. Those are all the big markets. They're top 10 in the southeast region, big markets, and they're 1 or 2 in the district every single time. It starts with that product that's so good, both Hyundai, safest car in the world, and the Genesis technology. All of that is so durable. You get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every car. And then there's the service that they love to brag about now. They always go the extra mile for you. And now every new Hyundai and Genesis gets a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on the house. They want to take care of you. They want to change your oil. They want to rotate your tires. They want to make sure everything is perfect for you and your car so that it lasts for literally forever. I promise. Go see what I'm talking about. Get on Lamar into Mississippi, exit 1's Craft Road, turn left, and you'll see all the gang. Chris Drews put this thing together. It is great at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We talk a little baseball with our baseball guy. That's Tim Doolin, and he is next.
You have opinions.
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
We want to hear them. Call the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 70236.
Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Receive a $20 Kroger or Walmart gift card, Grizzly swag, and BOGO McDonald's coupons while supplies last. Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pipkin, located at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
Hi, this is Troy 5 owner of 5 Reef Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? 5 Reef Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Reef Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Are you considering replacing your heating and air conditioning system this spring? Conway Services and Carrier have teamed up to make now the perfect time with Visa gift cards back from Carrier for up to $1,500 on select Carrier Infinity systems. If you happen to need 2 new systems, that'd be up to $3,000 in Visa cards. Now that'd come in handy. If that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner to help remove dust from your home, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. Plus, with Conway Services, we have easy payment plans with systems as low as $139 per month. Now you could do that. And with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in this hour, or this portion of our show, presented by Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, deals like the givebacks from Visa and Conway. Conway and Carrier, they've teamed up to make it the perfect time with Visa gift cards. If you were to buy the newest technology, the Carrier Infinity systems, and if you happen to have a bigger system that has 2 different units, that would be $3,000 in Visa cards, and I know that would come in handy for a summer vacation. And if that's not enough, besides all of that, you're going to get an April air cleaner to get all the dust out of your home. That's complimentary. A 10-year parts warranty, that's part of the deal. And a free Nest thermostat, that's about a $1,200 thermostat. And you're always going to get Conway service and easy payment plans as low as $139 a month. Everybody can afford that. All you got to do is make the call, 384-3511, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and right now, a Visa card give back. We talk baseball with our friend Tim Doolin. He joins us now. Crazy things are happening with experiments, and maybe they need them because baseball right now has more strikeouts than hits and already 2 no-hitters in the bigs. I think the most in 1 year is 7. That might be on the docket this year. Good afternoon.
How are you guys?
Good.
Well, I'm not a fan. I don't think scooting the mound back a foot. I think we got to get more of a balance of how we're approaching the game. I think analytics has gotten way too entrenched in our game with guys with what they call launch angle and swinging for the fences, and you can't really blame the players because it's kind of how the game is going financially for contracts. You're going to see less and less pitchers throw no-hitters because they're not going to be going the distance. But nonetheless, it's now, and I think John Smoltz really hits it on the head, Dave, is he's not a fan either. He doesn't think that we should just be bringing up all these young pitchers and just say, throw as hard as you can for as long as you can. And then when you have Tommy John, you'll sit out a year, next man up. I think you're going to see payrolls be affected. Contracts are definitely going to be affected. You're not going to see as many long-term deals as we once saw. And I just think we've got to get back to more of a balanced game where fans, we're worried about speeding the game up, and I think fans want to see a traditional baseball game. They don't want to see a bunch of strikeouts and some home runs. They want to see guys stealing bases. They want to see guys moving runners over. Home runs are an integral part of it.
Hit behind the runner.
I don't think scooting the mound back a foot and experimenting with all those types of things is the answer. That's just me.
Tim, I'm afraid that a guy like Louis Aparicio, a guy like Ozzie Smith, a guy like Donnie Kessinger, mostly glovemen, mostly defensemen, I don't know if there would be a place for them now, sadly. With that kind of defense from all three, you'd find a way to crack a lineup, I hope. But now, if you can't bash, heck, people aren't paying to watch a slick fielding defensive player. But we don't need you. That's a shame.
No, you're right. And I think one of the things they should do is I think they should eliminate the shift. I don't think you should be able to load one side of the infield, because what you're saying is exactly what's happening. Is you can put a 6'3" traditional third baseman and play him at second base because he doesn't have to move so much because of the analytics. And so you're right. If you're a middle infielder in today's game, you better be hitting, at the least, you better be hitting 15 home runs.
Well, the reason I don't think Kessinger or Aparicio, unless they were hitting bigger, Ozzie became a better hitter as time went on. But
a lot of work.
I don't think you want defense as much anymore because, like you just said, you're going to put guys on in the shift. And if we've got more strikeouts in the game at this moment than we have hits, people are not putting the ball in play. And, Tim, I am not for moving the mound back a foot, but I might be for eliminating the mound. How about that? Taking that, okay, we've already done a little bit. We lowered it. Maybe take it away. You've got to get more balls in play. Otherwise, you're going to lose people because the game is not as much fun to watch.
No, I don't disagree with that. I don't think you can't do away with the mound and have a flat mound. You can't. That's not going to happen. That'll never happen. The Players Union won't let that happen. But
why do you need a mound? Seriously, tell me why. I've seen a lot of playing fields when I was a kid where there was no mound. You had a rubber, but it was flat.
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw it too, and none of the infields fielded very well either.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a drastic move. I think what you need to do first thing is would be eliminate the shift.
Dave, to Manfred.
But why eliminate the shift? How about teaching guys to hit the other way?
Because Dave, because players are going to play to the role that gets them paid. The average big leaguer plays about 4 years in the big leagues, 4 or 5 years. So the market has told them it's okay to strike out 200 times. Think about this: you're going to get 600 at bats. Okay, let's say you're a big, strong guy. You're going to get 600 at bats. Swing as hard as you can for 600 at bats. You could hit 30 home runs.
Yeah,
think about that
and get paid.
Right. And get paid. It don't matter if you hit 220.
Right.
And you're
generational money too.
The player, even though they know that they're getting paid because fans are coming to the games and the TV and all that, at the end of the day, the owners are signing the checks, and the owners are hearing from the analytics department saying we need home runs. Don't worry about stealing bases. Don't worry about hitting the ball the other way. There's got to become a balance, and I think Rob Manfred's doing a terrible job. We're experimenting with how to speed the game up to keep fans. Fans aren't worried about the game being sped up.
Right.
Fans are more concerned about seeing a complete game, like you just mentioned.
I agree with that.
They don't want to see strikeouts all the time.
I agree with that.
Amen.
100%. I'm with you. I don't think it's the length of the game. It's the boringness of the game when all you're seeing is strikeouts and an occasional home run. I want to see great defense. I want to see the ball put in play.
I want to see a relay.
And you're not going to see great defense, as many great defensive plays being made like Ozzie used to make, or Donnie Kessinger, or whomever you pick, because he doesn't have to have that much range anymore.
No, he doesn't. I agree.
Catch the balls that are hit to you.
You know
hit
who
the ball over the fence.
Now, he went to the Hall of Fame, so you can't say he came around. I can't say he came around at too bad of a time. But a guy now that would be a basher and make a lot more money. He was a good defender. Barry Larkin really may have had the poor timing. He went to the Hall of Fame, so it wasn't too poor timing. But he's my example of now all they'd want him to do is hit home runs. You don't have to play any defense, Barry.
Yeah, no, there's no question about it. And I'm just hopeful that we get some balance back in the game, because it's much needed. It really is. It's fun as much as I enjoy it and love it. It's part of my
and
DNA.
we do love it.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
I agree.
Look,
because we love
it. And I know I'm biased, but I would pay to go see Mookie Betts and Mike Trout, because why? They're a complete baseball player. They run the bases. They defend. They play with energy. They hustle. They hit. They hit with power. They hit for average. Mookie will move runners over when the game is warranting. He will do those little things. That's what the average fan wants to see, I think.
I agree. The other experiment that we could see, or that we're going to see at the minor league level, is what they call the double hook. I love it personally. You've got, because I'm not a DH fan, but as long as your starting pitcher is in, you've got a DH. Once you remove the pitcher, you lose the DH, and the new pitcher coming in bats in that position. Give me your sense on that one, because we could see a lot of different strategy from that.
Well, I think what it's doing is it's going to be a blend of between the American League and the National League. That's what you're going to see. That's basically what it is. National League, right? The pitcher hits for himself.
Right.
American League, you got a DH. Well, now all of a sudden you take the pitcher out, then you either have to pinch hit, and you better have a deep bench, or you're not going to use as many pitchers as you are today. So,
Jim, you called it last week.
That to me is an interesting concept.
I agree.
Yeah, you called it last week. You said the Razorbacks would take 2 out of 3. They did. There wasn't a lot of pitching in Oxford. It was a long day on Saturday, 2 9-inning games, 18 innings of baseball. But Arkansas
really long game on Sunday.
And a real long game on Sunday.
Well, there was some offense in that game.
Oh, man. Yeah. That was a football score. That was everything but Hunter Henry and the Heave in that game, and Alex Collins.
But I will tell you, Dave Van Horn's teams, they have always been this way, and they definitely are this year. And Vanderbilt, Tim Corbin's team this year is more potent than they've ever been, because they don't just have pitching. They don't just have guys that can hit over the fence. They've got a complete team, and Dave Van Horn has the same. He can run when he needs to run. He can hit and run when he needs to hit and run. He lays down a bunt. He hits. He's got 5 or 6 guys that can hit with power, and they pitch it really well. I think Mike's team in Oxford is really kind of toward the major league game, where he's got a lot of big boppers that he's hoping are going to run into balls and hit them over the fence. And his pitching's been decimated a little bit by some injuries. He's lost his closer to a UCL. And I think when you look at teams that traditionally get to Omaha, you got to look at those teams like Van Horn and like Corbin that play a more balanced game, because it's no different in the big leagues. When you get to the playoffs, you're facing really, really good arms. You better be able to play some small ball. you better be able to execute. And all of a sudden, you can't change the way you played all year and say, okay, we're facing really good arms in this series. We better be able to hit and run, move runners over, and lay down an occasional bunt. You can't just do that. That's got to be your game the entire year. So I mean, and you look at the SEC stats, and you got the number 1 team in the country, the number 2 team in the country, the number 4 team in the country, and the number 5 team in the country, and 11 in South Carolina. So you've got some really good.
And Tennessee.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, Tennessee's ranked 5th, I think. It'll be interesting to see if he's really made a statement in a short period of time. He has, and he's done a great job of it. Is how does he do against his in-state rival Vanderbilt this weekend? Is a huge series.
Well, we've got a big series starting at 5:30 tonight in Starkville, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. 1:30 tomorrow, and on Sunday 12:30. All the games on Sports 56, 98.5, 96.1. So Tim Adonis,
that will break all attendance records, I think, in the history of college baseball for a weekend.
That is cool. Who wins the series, Tim Adonis?
I think State's playing really, really well right now. I think they'll probably win 2 out of 3. If I were betting, which I don't do, but they're playing really good. I've got a shortstop there that's playing lights out. That's a freshman that's coming into his own as a hitter and can really, really defend. I mean, this guy is a big time defender. Then you got another kid named James that plays third base for him that went to DeSoto Central. And the left side of their infield's playing really good right now. So. Besides the fact that they pitch it really well too, so I think they'll win 2 out of 3. But it's going to be a great series.
Are you going?
I am not going.
Okay.
I will get down there sooner than later, but I'm just not a huge fan of going and watching a bunch of games. I see enough of them as it is.
I hear you. I would just love to see what that atmosphere is going to be like for this. And how many do they seat? 16,000? Is that what they get?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I will. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. And I will tell you this: I've been there since they've redone the stadium, and underneath the stadium, it's second to anything I've ever seen. I'm talking major leagues. It's unbelievable the things they have for the players and for their. It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy cool. So
Buck Showalter cool. Wouldn't recognize it from his playing days there in the 70s, would it?
No, he wouldn't. He sure wouldn't. That's for sure.
All right, my friend. As always, we appreciate it. That series is going to be terrific. We'll talk Major League Baseball a little bit next week. That is for certain. We appreciate it, and we'll wish you a happy weekend.
All right, you too, guys. Thanks. Always enjoy it.
That is our baseball man. That is Tim Doolin. We're back in just a minute to put a wrap on this second hour on this Friday of Sports Time on Sports 56.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Even in times like these, special occasions happen. And when an occasion calls for special, it calls for 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination. From the spectacular 36-ounce porterhouse paired with a Ferrari Carano Cabernet, to the jumbo lump crab cakes, to the raw bar with oysters fresh off the boat from the Gulf and the East Coast, there is simply no finer dining experience in Memphis than 117 Prime in the heart of downtown. These are complicated times, but if you want simply the best, you want 117 Prime.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
2021 is finally here. Might I suggest we start the wonderful new year with a makeover for your beautiful house. I'm Brian Elder. I'm a roofer. I fix roofs. Don't let them tell you that it has to be replaced when all it may need is some love. 867-0303. Let me love on your roof. I've made quite the reputation over the last decade as the guy to call after the insurance company denies the claim. Overturning a claim that has gone bad is an art form where you argue county code, manufacturer's specs, and details of your policy that they have to abide by. So let me see it first. If I say it's a claim, it's a claim. 867-0303. Money is free at Brian Elder Roofing with 0% financing for half a decade. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you a quote right over the phone. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Receive a $20 Kroger or Walmart gift card, Grizzly swag, and BOGO McDonald's coupons while supplies last. Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pipkin, located at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
Get to destinations unknown in your new ride from Gossett Mitsubishi 1870 Covington Pike. Get 43 MPG Highway and 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett at $12,997 or $133 a month, and it's not a lease. You own it. Dream big and drive further in your all-new 2022 Eclipse Cross, $23,373 or $284 a month, and exceed all expectations in your 2022 Outlander, $31,919 or $409 a month. Plus, we build it with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 2.79%. Mirage MH02807, MSRP 16865. Eclipse NZ03094, MSRP 26325. Outlander NZ05802, MSRP 34935. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Final portion of hour number 2. Don't forget, 5:30 Ole Miss at Mississippi State. We were just talking a bunch about that, and you'll hear it right here on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1. There's an out in the bottom of the 8th at Wrigley, and the Cubs, of course, are behind to the Atlanta Braves 5-2. Cardinals and the Phillies tonight at 6. But I think the big one is the Dodgers and the Padres. I know ESPN is building that up like that is the new Yankees.
It's going to get mouthy.
Red Sox thing. Yeah, I think that'll be
youngins against the experience. And the Padres want to put their flag in the ground, and I think they want to put some fists in some faces too with the Dodgers, and it'll build all year. And those two are going to butt heads come October, and the Dodgers are just off to a great start.
Yeah, they are. Best record in baseball. It'll be a lot of fun to watch that for sure. This final portion of our show is brought to you by the Spirit Shop, and we're just a few minutes away from 5 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend is almost here. I know you want to enjoy it, so you got to stop by the best place to get your spirits, and that is Eddie Connor's Spirit Shop right at the corner of St. Nick and of Poplar, 4646 Poplar Avenue to be exact. Walk inside, you'll be amazed at all that they have in this little space. And the great thing is Eddie believes in variety. He's got everything you could possibly need, every accessory, every bit of beer or wine or bourbon, and that's what I love about the diversity or the choice that you have. I mean, state-of-the-art, top-notch, hard to get, premium liquors and wines, and then there's the middle ground, and then there's the bargains. And some, well, they're going to be upper echelon in about 2 or 3 years. Eddie already knows. So he's got some of those, and he can say, look, you can get this right now at this price because in 3 years, that'll be through the roof. Go get educated. Go get good deals. Go and enjoy the company that you will find inside because he loves talking spirits. That's Eddie Connor, his family, and the Spirit Shop right there at Poplar and St. Nick. So we've got this football game tonight. It's 2 quarters, maybe 3 quarters tonight. And I'm sure there'll be some special teams work. They're going to say 100 to 130 plays. I really never know, Brett, what you're really looking for in these games because they're not going to show you too much. Right, coaches don't, because a lot of times video could get out. They don't want to see anything. In fact, there was the opportunity for this video to be on Facebook Live tonight, and the coaching staff said, no, we're not going to do that. But I guess
why do the work for them?
I guess the thing you really want to see is the quarterbacks. You want to see all 4, especially since yesterday Ryan Silverfield himself told us that all 4 quarterbacks are pretty close in this competition.
Yeah, and the promotional aspect of it too, Dave. And for people, a lot of people that didn't get to enjoy going out to a game in the middle of a global pandemic last year, tonight will be the first trip back to the Liberty Bowl Stadium for them since the 2019 season, and the tailgating scene and just the run up, just to start the dance. 2021 starts now, and it will just build and build and build. And our conversation will build and build and build about it and around Tiger football. This is as peak as it's ever been. Even coming off the Cotton Bowl, you didn't really get to tap into the energy last year because of the virus, and now is it seemingly is relaxing, and people are getting vaccinated, and life is starting to resume again, and by fall we hope to full tilt. The promotional aspect of it is big for the University of Memphis, and to cash in on the Ryan Silverfield mania that he has created after that great year last year against just spectacular odds as a first-year head coach.
And speaking of promotional value, I do want to point out, if you are on your way there or you're about to leave to go there and you wanted to leave a little early, you can get a $10 voucher if you go get vaccinated right there on Tiger Lane by the Pipkin building. They got that big tent that they built. You know how much tents cost to put up like that? I did not know this until just a couple of weeks ago. Do you know what it costs to put a tent up like that?
I don't know how large it is, but I know it doesn't come cheaply, and there was a lot of parameters around it for health and safety through the FDA as well.
$250,000 to put up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those up around the country, and look, we had to do it. We had to commit to it. At this point, with the virus and with the economy and with people nervous about it, heck with the money. Heck, all that money we blew in the Middle East in 2001 to 2005, we could have paid for this 10 times, 20 times, 100 times.
Oh, yeah, no. I think it's money well spent, that's for sure. But if you go to that tent in Tiger Lane and you get vaccinated, they'll give you a $10 voucher for concessions, which means you can probably go get a Tiger Tail beer. I think they are serving Tiger Tail beer, and some popcorn or peanuts or whatever you may want.
Dave, we built an 8-lane, flat as a pancake superhighway through the 350 miles through the middle, east-west through the middle of Afghanistan in the early 21st century.
Wow.
Now, all it would do is make the poppy dealers, the coke dealers, have an easier way as we're bailing once again.
Yeah. That'll do it for me, by the way. Brett and Drew will be back for your final half-hour show. We got Andy Schiffman coming your way, and we've got Taco Bell Crunch Time. So it'll be a busy 25 minutes coming for those two guys. I'm going to step out. See you on Facebook Live tonight on the Tiger Spring game, and then we'll do this again on Monday. Have a great night, everybody.
Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Receive a $20 Kroger or Walmart gift card, Grizzly swag, and BOGO McDonald's coupons while supplies last. Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pipkin,
Uncle Drew,
located at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Safety toes, shoes, and great quality hiking boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett and Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
We're out at 5:25, but we visit every Friday at this time about the NBA during the NBA season. NBA season has gone almost constant for the last 18 months. We do that with Andy Schiffman, Memphian, who's now based in Chicago with Priority Sports. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Go online, check out their beautiful cars and the many, many, many happy referrals at DeSotoAutosales.com. All the cars test driven, all checked out bumper to bumper, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. And you will be treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment that cares about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in, within 45 minutes, find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in 45 minutes in time to do it over your busy lunch hour or like right now, right after work. And you can get out to the Liberty Bowl Stadium tonight for Friday night stripes and watch the Tigers debut the 2021 season. It's that simple at DeSoto Auto Sales. They're big Tiger fans. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County, to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience. This weekend, you got a lot of choices in sports, but I know the choice you need to make in barbecue, and that's the Germantown Commissary or the Collierville Commissary. You have two choices. The new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Andy Schiffman, Dave, and I, we were out there last spring wondering what was ever going to happen in sports. We did it all over. Great food, Memphis-style barbecue, delicious and authentic. When we say Memphis-style, we mean slow. Start that barbecue feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. They originated at the original commissary in Germantown. Walker Taylor came up with that great culinary delight in the early 80s, and it has stood the test of time. Many have copied it. None have perfected it like they have at the commissary. And save room for dessert with the best lemon icebox pie anywhere, the great banana pudding. 754-5540. Online at commissaryBarbecue.com. Before you head out to the spring game tonight, head to the commissary, either in Collierville, at the Collierville Commissary at Houston Levy, or the original in Germantown. 754-5540 or online at commissaryBarbecue.com. Andy Schiffman joins us now. And, Andy, it was a tough loss for the Grizzlies to Dallas the other night. Now they embark on a 7-gamer without Brandon Clark tonight in Chicago, where you are. Are you going to the game? And we will see a lot of different combos for a lot of different teams the rest of the way, won't we?
Well, before we get into that, I want to say two quick things. One, you literally made my mouth water as you're talking about the comments.
Come on home.
Sitting here in my office, seriously. Two, I really love the prior segment with Tim Doolin. And so when I was younger, growing up, playing baseball, my dad, for whatever reason, thought I could actually turn into something athletically, and that was a mistake. But I was taking lessons from Tim Doolin out in Doolin Sports Academy for years and years and years.
That's
and
great.
I haven't seen or heard or talked with Tim in so long. It was great to hear him with you guys. He's one of the best. So that was really awesome to hear.
That's kind, Andy.
And to answer your question, Brett, yeah, I actually am going to the game now. The United Center here where the Bulls play, it's not quite open to the public like FedEx Forum is and a lot of other arenas. So I'm going to go as like a guest of the Bulls, but we'll not get to see the guys up close. I did get to visit with some of them yesterday at the hotel here in Chicago. And so I will be there. I think it's a game they could definitely, I don't even say steal, because they should be winning a game like this. The Bulls have really been struggling. Now they're without Zach LaVine, but they did get Vucevic. Obviously, that's going to cause some matchup problems inside for the Grizzlies with Valanciunas. We'll see how that goes. So you're right. There'll be a lot of interesting lineup combinations. When Brandon's been out, typically other guys have to step up. One of my guys, Killian Tilly, might see some more time tonight. So it should be interesting. But, man, that Dallas game, that was a heartbreaker. And
cruel.
Even last night with some of the guys that we rep, I just said, look, if you take that shot that Luka took 100 times, it goes in one time. I firmly believe that. And we can sit there and say what we want to say about Grayson Allen missing free throws, this and that, but, hey, it's just like golf, right? If you have a 3-foot putt, and you do this every single day, and you're a professional golfer, and then someone adds some pressure to the situation and says, I'm going to bet you $1,000 you're going to miss this putt, you're bound to miss it more often than not. If that's the case, if the stakes are higher, and it's no different than Grayson. I mean, I understand that he's a 90% plus free throw shooter. He's expected to make those shots. But look, this is sports. We don't understand what goes on in players' minds a lot of times in terms of the mental pressure. There's a lot more than just going up there, being an NBA player, knocking down free throws. And another example I give, that same night, I was watching the Pistons-Clippers game, and I got Mason Plumlee and Wayne Ellington on the Pistons. And Mason Plumlee is, I think, about a 64% free throw shooter, and the Clippers started fouling Mason intentionally, trying to get back into the game, and they ended up winning the game because of a turnover. But they started basically employing the hack-a-shack on Mason. Mason went up to the line 64%, knocks down 4 straight free throws. So it can go both ways. And so I would not be quick to sit there and penalize a player like Grayson. Look, it's disappointing, but these things happen. That's why it's professional sports. No one could have predicted Luka hits that insane circus shot. But this is the league that we're in. This is the season that we're in, and there's a lot of parity, and these games are tough.
You're exactly right, Andy. That's the reason why we play the games, because we can't see the future and we don't know exactly what's going to happen. And like you just said, the season that we're in, and one factor of the season that we're in, has been a high rate of injuries this year, especially adding a name to that list today is Donovan Mitchell. Went down early with an ankle injury. Luckily, the X-rays come back negative. What do you think is there a main cause of why there are so many injuries, and especially to high-talent guys? I mean, LeBron, AD, Jamal Murray earlier this week, and now Donovan Mitchell.
Well, it's a good point, Drew. It's less about the talent, though, and you were in that arena when you mentioned that, just high usage. All these players, right, they're playing 30, 35 minutes a night, potentially more, because a lot of these games are close. What I've noticed the second half of the season, some of these games are just that much more competitive. You don't really have a ton of just complete blowouts, and you see games that you didn't think would go down to the wire, just like the Pistons almost beating the Clippers the other night. And so that, in turn, is going to mandate these superstar players remain in games longer. And now you talk about the truncated NBA schedule. The Grizzlies, for example, do not have 2 days off between games the rest of the season, and most NBA teams don't. And you're talking about the Grizzlies, for example. You just lose a heartbreaker at home in Dallas the other night. Then you got the Bulls tonight. You bust straight to Milwaukee after the game to play tomorrow night against Milwaukee. and now Giannis is back. That one's not going to be easy. Then you go out west to play Denver just 2 days later. Then you got to start a whole continuous, really rough West Coast trip with a game every other day with the Clippers and Portland back-to-back and Denver again. It's really, really tough. So I think the best thing I would propose is it's the lack of rest and recovery time in between games and the constant travel the second half of the schedule and just the need for these superstar, highly talented players to be relied on every single night. And you see teams here and there, not as much as you did in the past, trying to rest their superstars, but that's really hard because you can't sit there now and say they're just resting. You have to come up with something a little more specific, and so it's less likely for these teams to be able to utilize that mechanism and just have these guys fresh for the playoffs. And look, I absolutely know it's got a lot of players upset because there is a higher rate of injury, and maybe it comes back to bite the league in the butt. But look, we got to do what we got to do to fit this season in and try and get back on a regular schedule for the 21-22 year, and that's the hope of all this, and that doesn't come without injury.
Yeah, this is just the having to bite the bullet that they're having to do. Andy, between the pandemic and really not having off season last year, not much of one, and just everybody busting ready to travel again, your agency and Across Sports are going to pay for, I mean, you're going to see some bills for some vacation and some time away and some hot spots that you may have never, I mean, some travel advisors may have not heard of some of these places these guys are going to want to go to and get away from it all. Do you really feel like in the East or in the West, there are many teams that really want to be the 10 seed?
Well, I think it depends on the actual team, right? Like for example, I do think the Grizzlies would love to be in that arena, in that ballpark, let's say, because they, missed out in the playoffs last year. And for them, that's an internal positive step in the right direction. I think they would love to be able to be there. Now, if you're talking about a team like an OKC or a team like Toronto that's vying for Toronto's in the 11th in the East right now. I mean, OKC's so far out of it, but just some of these teams that have really started to look at, we're not really prioritizing winning, right? It's probably not tops on the list to fight, to squeak in there, to be in the playoff game, to play in for the playoffs, rather, and have a chance just to play more games, to just be ousted by the 1 seed come playoff time. So I really think it just depends on the circumstances. I think if you're looking at teams both in the East and the West that maybe are sitting in that 6th, 7th, or 8th spot today, absolutely, they would rather be even in the 9th or 10th spot and have a chance than just completely fall out of the playoffs. But to your point, the point you made in the introduction of that question, Brett, there are a lot of players who definitely have the mindset of just, hey, get me to the end of the season and let me just go take a breather and go on vacation with my family and get away from all this. I just
turn off my phone.
See that. Yeah, exactly. I think you don't really see that in these, let's call it the 6 through 10, 6 through 11 spots right now.
Going to be a lot of people hitting up old Mr. Chandler to see if they can join him for his annual trip to Cancun this year. That is for sure. Andy, to nobody's surprise, Evan Mobley entered the NBA draft today. What kind of career do you think he's projected at having in the NBA?
Well, look, he obviously had a tremendous season at USC. He was very highly thought of as a 7th freshman coming in. He's probably still going to be a top 3 or 4 pick. I think a lot of it really depends on who's picking where, what do you need. There's a couple of young players, G League elite players, Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga, who play with the G League Ignite team, that will be thought of in the top 5, along with potentially Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga, Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State. And I think Evan Mobley's right in that group. Look, in this draft, not even speaking to just Evan, I think in this draft, and I was talking about this with the team the other night, I don't look at anybody at the top and think that they're going to be a lock, franchise-changing all-star player. I think those players at the top absolutely will have the opportunity to one day turn into an all-star, but I'm not going to be surprised if any of them never materialize into all-stars. I think what you're getting at the top of this draft, at the very least, in the top 5 or 6 guys, are very, very productive, good NBA starter-level players. But that doesn't mean, obviously, all of them will be all-stars. And I think Evan Mobley is for sure at least that player. It'd be great. Look, he really didn't take many threes. He took just one three a game, but there's nothing that says he can't stretch that out and expand that aspect of his game in the next few years and turn it into more of a threat from three-point range at the NBA level. He's obviously extremely skilled around the basket with his size. He's got great feet. He's got great hands. He's a good passer. So, look, I do think he's going to turn into a very good player. And, again, while they're different players, it's just, again, an exciting young big who left college after his freshman year. You look at DeAndre Ayton, who went first overall. Is DeAndre Ayton ever going to turn into an all-star? Maybe not. But the year he's having, especially with Phoenix, no one can argue that was a poor pick. Now, you might sit there and make the case that maybe I would have taken this player or that player instead of Ayton. But, again, he's not quite on the level of a Zion Williamson going 1 overall. But he's a very, very good player in the NBA, and I could see Evan following that path.
Andy, you have a great weekend. We have to get out a little early today. We will have an extended segment next Friday. Enjoy the game tonight, seeing the Grizzlies against the Bulls, and be safe, and we will visit again next week. Thank you so much, Andy.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Andy.
You got Andy Schiffman talking NBA with us. Proud Memphian, now in Chicago with Priority Sports. And tonight, Grizzlies in downtown Chicago with probably the most winnable game on this brutal road trip that they embark on. This weekend, everybody's starting to get back out again. Everybody wants to get back out again. And Jason's Deli, open for business at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. They couldn't have made this last year without you, and they appreciate you so much. Your loyalty, your patience, your understanding, and everything returning back to the same. And at Jason's Deli, at any of those locations, back to the same means high quality. They love to say wholesome food forever. It's a family thing. Over 200 Memphis area associates associated with this Jason's Deli grouping. They are glad that they have weathered the last year and welcome you back. Welcome you back to the great food like the salads, the Mesa chicken salad, the Big Chef salad, the chicken Caesar salad. My favorite, the taco salad. At Jason's Deli, it's all about choice. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your own sandwich, you can. You'll be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from. The great salad bar, it's been there. They've been preparing it for you now. Now you can start preparing it again for yourself with over 30 items to choose from. Catering, anytime, anywhere, the catering business is picking back up again and building again. And in all the locations, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, free ice cream, complimentary ice cream at all the Jason's Deli. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. My question about the 10 seeds, Drew, I think Washington in the East with Westbrook, Bill, Hashimura, they could be a dangerous 10. And I think the Grizzlies could, I don't know about dangerous as in advancing, but could scare the daylights out of somebody if they fell to the 10. But I don't see San Antonio really embracing the 10. I don't see Golden State embracing it all. In New Orleans, they don't want it. They want to be in the draft.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to be in that spot. And when you're at the 10, and somebody, unfortunately, is going to fall there, whether you want it to happen or not, you're somebody's going to have to do that, and you'd hate.
They're not canceling those games.
They're not, and you'd hate for it to almost turn into a blowout just due to the fact that one team definitely just doesn't want to be there. Whatever stars they have on that team just decide they don't really want to play, and because when you are the 10 taking on the 8 seed, if you lose one game, you're done. So they just figured go out there, waste 48 minutes of everybody's time, and then I'll get on a plane and go home, or I'll head down to Cancun or wherever else that tickles my fancy for the off-season travels.
Me too.
But there's going to be, maybe somebody's going to, like I said, somebody's going to have to play, so you might as well embrace it. Kind of like what we talked about with the Tigers in the NIT. If you're there, you might as well win. So I think the Grizzlies, out of everybody, 7 and below, would probably be the most embracing of the teams to get it. And I say that with a question mark.
I don't. I say it with a. Maybe I say it with a ... Maybe not just a period, but I think it. And it's not just because we're here and we want that. I started the show today as my top story. I'm not holding it against the Grizzlies at all. If this 7-gamer comes apart, if the playoffs come apart, they've made strides this year. They are poised whenever opening night occurs next year, whether it's late October around Halloween or early November, even middle of November, they are poised to pounce on the next gen promotion to Jaron, to Ja, to Brandon, to Dylan Brooks, to the younger players. They are poised, I think, when the doors open up next year, really for the next great chapter of the Grizzlies to happen.
Yeah, and it needs to happen, and it needs to happen next season. While you've accomplished your goals already this year, you have to remember that as you're rebuilding, your goals have to continuously get higher. So next year, I mean, year 3 of Ja, year
big
4
step.
of Jaron, you got to be a big step. No, and I think big step means 6 and up. I think big step means out of the play-in game.
I'm with you. Out of that conversation, the next year when FedEx Forum reopens, and we're getting closer, and we all want it, and we really can see the light now. We can. Things are definitely getting better. The Tigers and the Grizzlies next year at FedEx Forum will almost be on the same path.
Mm.
It won't be any more baby step time. It doesn't mean they got to get crushed after every loss, and we know how that occurs with the mountain of Grizzlies games as opposed to not as many for the Tigers. But they will be on a dual track next year
under a microscope for sure.
For sure, and constantly under one around here, but even more so next year. It's time for Crunch Time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
Did you?
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
All one. Odd two. Odd three. Hey.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Drew, you hear so often that you really learn stuff kind of after you've gone through the fray and come out the other end. And I said, we're coming out of a global pandemic. You can tell your grandchildren someday, son, I went to ball games with a mask on and having to stay away from people, but you still went to all the games, and now people are starting to return. And what Ryan Silverfield did during all that, it was a tough year one. There was never any normal about it, whatever normal is anymore. He had a great first year. Tonight launches year 2 for him. What'd you learn today?
Yeah, I learned that, and just taking it one step further, I can honestly say I was one of less than 50 people in the FedEx Forum for a Tigers regular season game. That is the story.
Ever.
The Tigers Tulsa game is the story I will tell the rest of my life.
There hadn't been crowds that small on sheets of ice, terrible weather nights.
No, there has not. What I learned today is that there will now be 3 Boeheims in Syracuse, New York, as Jimmy Boeheim has announced that he will be committing to the Orange after transferring from Cornell. The 6'8" forward didn't play last season due to the Ivy League cancellation of winter sports. In the 2019-20 season, he averaged 16.7 points and 5.6 rebounds a game and made 31 three-pointers in 21 games. So Jimmy kind of sounds a lot like Buddy. Seem like the same guys.
Anybody still comparing Buddy to Klay Thompson? Remember that foolishness
for
for
sure.
2 days?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, that was almost up there with the drunkest human in the country is the guy that wanted to take a swing at Aaron Donald.
Oh, it really is. Or the fact that East High School, they could always beat the Tigers.
Of course, yeah, boy. Where's that crowd? Could have done without. The NFL win totals are out. ESPN FPI, whatever that is, and estimated win totals, they're out for the SEC. It's silly season. It leads into talking season. I love it. What I could do without are people that get mad over lists. People get mad over list season and quarterbacks and best stadiums and worst stadiums and best bands and worst tailgates. Why do you get mad over it? Make your own list if you don't like it out there on Twitter. If somebody else makes a list you don't like.
It really is that simple, and I've seen a lot of them here lately. And the one that I saw was the best restaurants in college towns, in each college towns, and people lost their mind on Twitter over this list.
Lost their minds over it. I agreed with Oxford. I'm there on Ajax, but Fayetteville had Hugo's. I don't know if it's the best, but a lot of people really like it. My favorite is the Venetian Inn in Fayetteville. I went over every one of those, and I was thinking, but
the ones I've been to, I was okay with.
I didn't see any of it that serves dog food. I mean, to get mad over and really assail the author, I don't get. We're keeping a close eye on a lot this weekend. Portal, spring games, early NBA entries, baseball, Rebs, Dogs, and Starkville. Friday night, Stripes at the Liberty Bowl in just a little bit. NFL draft machinations, golf at Hilton Head, the Grizzlies in Chicago tonight, Cards at Phillies, Battle of Ohio, Cleveland at Cincinnati, Battle of the Sox, Red versus White Sox, Dodgers, Padres. Punches thrown?
No, fake tough guys for sure.
A bullpen's emptied and they bark all the way?
They race to each other and they smile and laugh and see who can get the second first.
Yeah, and then they're all buddies after the game. They're all buddies pregame. It's Dave and Lance standing at the desk, people. That's what all baseball fights really are all about. There may have been more punches thrown at Channel 5.
I'm sure there were.
At most baseball fights. I want to thank Bruce Marshall, Gabe Kuhn, Tim Doolin, and Andy Schiffman. For Dave, for Drew, I'm Brett. Everybody join us again on Monday at 3. But in between now and 3, have a great weekend. Thank you for listening. At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in
And I mean, it was really meaningless for, in the conference, but for us, it was great because, it was a neutral site and a lot of people kind of got to see you that normally wouldn't go to Starkville, maybe or Oxford. And it was just a really, really fun time down there.
So what was it? What year would that have been? 92 or 93?
That was 93.
That was 93. It's crazy. So I didn't go to a Mayor's Trophy / Governor's Cup game until I might have gone to one when I was in high school, but I remember lying in bed and listening to that game the night that Richie Harrelson hit the walk-off home run, and it was crazy. Anyway, so not to bring up a bad memory. I forgot that you were a two-way guy though.
Yeah, I was, and of course Richie, now is coaching junior college, and every time I see him, he reminds me of that.
Hey Jay, you remember that night?
Oh yeah, I remember. It was looking back on it. That's great memories. It really was. Actually, I'd rather turn out the other way, but still, playing in those atmospheres and just the competition part of it is a lot of fun.
All right, tell me what you think is the difference maker, one way or the other, this weekend.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. Just looking at it, watching them play, they're a lot alike. They really are. If you look at them offensively, Ole Miss may hit for a little higher average. Run score is pretty similar. You might give a slight edge to them defensively. You might give a slight edge to Mississippi State.
Mark, network stations, we are 1 minute until airtime on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield IMG College in partnership with TeleSouth Communications for our baseball game broadcast. Studios, please start your archive recording. Stations, if you encounter technical issues during the broadcast, please call the Ole Miss Studio hotline at 336-831-0865. If you have satellite issues, please call TeleSouth at 601-957-8877. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime. Mark, 30 seconds until airtime. Once again, stations 336-831-0865 for technical issues and 601-957-8877 for satellite issues. Stations, your final time cue will be at 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The boom is back.
Swung on, fly ball right field, well stroked. Jesse at the wall, kiss it goodbye. There's another one. Swung on, fly ball right field. That's at the wall, and it's gone. See ya. Another Baker bomb. That one is gone. Showers in the outfield.
Hotty-toddy.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Throw to second. He's gone, and the Rebels win.
We're going to be the Powder Blue Crazies this year.
This is Ole Miss Baseball on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield IMG College in partnership with TeleSouth Communications. Our coverage of Rebel baseball begins with the Ole Miss Dugout Show, presented by Atmos Energy. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company. Mid-South Ford, Ford F-150, official truck of the Ole Miss Rebels. Addis Clean Hand Sanitizer, the official hand sanitizer of Ole Miss Athletics, helping the Ole Miss community play defense against the spread of germs and viruses. Mississippi Forestry Commission. Only you can prevent forest fires. By Mississippi Home Care. We bring healing home. And by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Together tastes better. The countdown is on to Ole Miss Baseball. Let's go to the broadcast booth with a voice of the Rebels, David Callum.
Tonight from Polk Mint Stadium in Judy Noble Field, the Magnolia State arch rivals are set to clash in Game 1 of a 3-game Southeastern Conference hardball series. The Rebels and the Bulldogs have both won 25 overall games and are currently tied for second in the SEC West at 8-4. State comes in ranked as high as third nationally, while the Rebs are as high as sixth. This will be the first meeting between the rival schools in a normal, no-limit attended sporting event in Mississippi since the pandemic started over a year ago. And the new dude will be packed this evening. Hello, I'm David Kellum, along with Ole Miss all-time hits leader Brad Henderson, and we'll have all the action between the red and blue and the maroon and white coming up. But first, stay tuned for the Ole Miss Dugout Show on the University of Mississippi Learfield IMG College Sports Network.
When you choose natural gas, chocolate chip cookies get a little tastier. Homes get a little cozier. Bank accounts tend to put on some weight. Towels get fluffier. Showers stay hotter for longer. And our blue planet gets a little greener. When it comes to choosing energy that's clean and efficient, nothing else could be more American. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
Today tastes like a sunny day, like firing up the senses and cooling them down with a nice cold Coke. Today tastes like a well-oiled grill, like it smells so good you can't help yourself.
Hey, it's not ready yet.
Like hands dipping in a nice bucket. Today tastes like a Sunday ritual, and it never tasted this good. Coca-Cola. Together tastes better.
Ole Miss baseball lives here on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Receive a $20 Kroger or Walmart gift card, Grizzly swag, and BOGO McDonald's coupons while supplies last. Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pipkin, located at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Dudy Noble Field, Polk Dement Stadium. Ole Miss and Mississippi State about to meet in some SEC baseball. David Cullum and Brad Henderson with you here on overcast night. What's your weather say, Brad? Let's start there with the weather.
Well, it's 63 right now, DK, but by this time this bad boy's over, it's going to get down to 56, and you can feel it in there. A little bit of a north wind.
Yeah.
Not a lot of wind, but a little cool here at Dudy Noble. But, Sam, maybe a chance of rain, 50%. Certainly doesn't look that way right now, but it is overcast, so we'll just see as the time goes along.
What a beautiful scene we have here. People are pouring in and getting ready for this game one of this three-game series. Our baseball broadcast is on the Ole Miss Athletics app, TuneIn Radio, OleMissSports.com, and your local stations. Select games are also available on SiriusXM satellite radio. No reason to miss the Rebels on game days. And the breaking the action you just heard, brought to you by Addis Clean. Launch a strong defense against germs and viruses with Addis Clean hand sanitizer, the official hand sanitizer of Ole Miss Athletics. And we do remind you, too, this season we've released an Ole Miss baseball digital yearbook that you can download. If you haven't done that yet, you can visit OleMissSports.com/publications to follow the Rebels for the remainder of the season. We definitely encourage you to do that. We're at the new Dude, they like to call it, Dudy Noble Field. Of course, they poured in some money into this place, and you can definitely tell it's $68 million facility. The concourse and lower level grandstands were in place for the 2018 season. We were here, and we had to do the broadcast from a trailer as they were working on the upper deck part. But now they've got a beautiful broadcast location for us, and suites, upper deck, reserved seating, and all the club areas are good and rolling now. They were completed prior to the 2019 campaign. It was the first time we've been here. The dimensions, 330 down the left field line, 376 to left center, 390 to center, 374 to right center, they claim, and 305 down the line. But then when you come to the ballpark, it's a little bit longer. It looks like 385 in the deep left center alley and 380 in the right center deep alley here at Dudy Noble. Got a little short porch down the right field line where they have that little curved wall that pops out into the right field corner. Most fans ever to see a game in Starkville, Ole Miss and Mississippi State, 2014, 15,586. It was an NCAA on-campus attendance record. If they allow them to come in here and they give us the truth on the number, we might break that tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal – all three games, David. It's just two really good teams getting after it, and obviously the in-state rivalry. But, yeah, it's filling up in a hurry.
So we look at the matchup here tonight. Ole Miss and State have met 463 times. The Bulldogs have won 248, Ole Miss 210. There were 5 ties in the series as well. Mississippi State, though, has had Ole Miss's numbers of late, winning the last 6 meetings, 14 the last 16. The Bulldogs also have won each of the past 4 series. Ole Miss last won a series over State in 2015, a 3-game sweep in Oxford. The Rebels last won a series in Starkville, taking 2 of 3 here at Dudy Noble in 2014. Of course, that was the year the Rebs went on to the College World Series. You know, when you compare the two teams, Brad, first of all, the Ole Miss offense scored 30 runs over 3 games against Arkansas, and we lost 2 of 3. We were worried about the offense, and we really had walk-itis go into our bullpen, if you will. But 58 runs over 5 games last week. The Rebels are second in the SEC and ranked fourth nationally with 253 runs scored, leading the SEC and fourth nationally with 355 hits on the season. The Rebels have tallied 9 or more hits in 8 straight games, 107 in that span, 13.4 hits per game. So all that's been good. Rebel pitching staff is number 3 nationally, 3rd in the SEC, averaging 12.1 strikeouts per game. But for some reason, bullpen, especially middle relief, struggled in that Arkansas series.
Yeah, and you said it, DK. It was the walks and the hit batters. We had 30 walks on the weekend and 3 hit batters, and we were playing a top 5 team in Arkansas, and you're just not going to win very many series with that many free passes. But on the flip side, we are swinging a hot bat. You know, for the longest, we were hovering around that 265, 270, 275, and after this past week, we have jumped over 300 as a team. So I think we're coming in at a good time, swinging the bats really well.
And Mississippi State's pitching staff has just been dominant. The Bulldog pitching staff has fanned at least 10 in a school record, 12 straight games. Earlier in the season, State matched the 2001 team with 10 straight games and has now moved past that mark. State leads the NCAA with 421 strikeouts. When you talk about them, you obviously have to talk about their pitching. But offensively, Mississippi State thought their pitching would be ahead. Well, their offense played pretty good, too.
Yeah, they've gotten hot as of late, and they needed to. There were some holes in that lineup early in the season, DK, and they kind of leaned so heavily on that staff. But yeah, they've swung it well, had a good weekend obviously at Auburn last weekend, sweeping that series. So again, I think it's 2 really even teams. It's just going to be who makes the pitches at the right time and gets that timely hit.
Number 6, Ole Miss, 25-8, 8-4 in the SEC West. Mike Bianco, the head coach in his 21st year, the dean of the SEC with 792 wins. Number 3 ranked Mississippi State's Bulldogs, 25-7, 8-4 in the West. Head coach Chris Lemonis at State in his 3rd year, looking for his 90th win tonight. That's the matchup. When we come back, we'll check out the pitching matchup, the rest of the SEC, and more on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
Calling the all-new 2021 Ford F-150 just tough is like calling me D-Nice just a DJ. Call it fresh with an available interior work surface for putting in work or getting in lunch. Call it connected with standard Sync 4 technology plus a huge available 12-inch touchscreen. Call it capable with available Pro Power onboard outlets for tools or turntables.
Call me D-Nice. Actually, tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Introducing the all-new 2021 Ford F-150.
Built Ford proud. Built Ford tough.
With Mississippi Home Care, the game is far from over. We know it takes determination and strength to achieve your health goals. That's why our local professionals work together every day to deliver the high-quality, compassionate care you need. If you or someone you know is recovering at home, our skilled medical team can help you or your loved one overcome obstacles and regain independence. Visit us today at lhcgroup.com to learn more about health care and the comfort of home. Mississippi Home Care. We bring healing home.
The home of the Rebels. This is the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Just like a great coach, your State Farm agent can help you develop a game plan for your business needs. Whether it's car, home, life, health, or business insurance, State Farm can dig into the playbook and help you find the affordable coverage that you need. Ole Miss Athletics is brought to you by your Memphis and DeSoto County State Farm agents. In South Haven, see Bill Gorman. In Memphis, see Bobby Gorman. Call 761-1361. Proud supporters of Ole Miss Rebel Athletics.
Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Receive a $20 Kroger or Walmart gift card, Grizzly swag, and BOGO McDonald's coupons while supplies last. Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pipkin, located at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
Welcome back to OU Stadium, Swayze Field, or I said Swayze Field. Welcome back to Dudy Noble and the Dude here. The Rebels are meeting in the right field as they're talking with Coach Mike Bianco, and the Bulldogs starting to gather in left field too, as we are here at the brand new Dudy Noble Field in Polk Demint Stadium. We do remind you a couple of things will be going on during the game. Anytime the Rebels steal a base, it's brought to you by Wade Incorporated, Mississippi's #1 John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a deer except an Ole Miss Rebel. And where I was going with Swayze Field, anytime you're in Swayze, we'll have LSU coming in next week with our big weekend with the Grove Bowl. But all foul balls are brought to you by your friends at Oxford University Bank at Swayze. OUB is ready to earn your business, whether it be with a free Casasas checking account or one of their many loan products tailored to fit your specific need. OUB is your locally owned and operated community bank, ready to serve you. Remember, Live Oxford, Bank Oxford, Oxford University Bank, member FDIC. I'm going to break down the pitching matchup. Get Brad's diagnosis on the pitchers here. Take control of your personal health and keep your wellness in check at St. Dominic's Hospital. St. Dominic's Hospital, skilled hands, compassionate hearts. Visit them online at stdom.com. And here's the pitching matchup for tonight. For Mississippi State, left-hander Christian McLeod, the freshman from Huntsville, Alabama, will go 3-2 with a 2.72 ERA, 58 strikeouts, 12 walks. And for the Rebels, right-hander Gunnar Hoagland, junior from Hudson, Florida, 3-1, 2.57 ERA, 78 strikeouts, and 16 walks. One thing that's kind of interesting, we're going to see Nikesi against Bednar tomorrow, McDaniel against Frisco on Sunday. No Mississippi pitcher among the 6 starters for State and Ole Miss. Ole Miss has got Florida, Louisiana, and State has got Alabama, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky. Let's talk about Christian McLeod first, though, Brad. The junior from Huntsville High School in Huntsville, Alabama. Is a tall guy, 6'4", redshirt freshman, named co-national freshman player of the year by Collegiate Baseball newspaper. He made 4 starts on the mound last year, led the team in strikeouts. He did not play 2019 as true freshman year. He was redshirted, so he did not face Ole Miss. High school, 2-time second-team All-America selection by Collegiate Baseball at Huntsville High. His father, Kevin, played baseball at Toledo and was a 10th-round pick of Oakland in the 87 Major League Draft. You look at what he's done. He's got a loss to Tulane, a win over Eastern Michigan, an SEC win at LSU, an SEC loss here at home against Arkansas. He's got an SEC win at home against Kentucky. No decision at Auburn last week, but he went 6 innings. In fact, the last 2 games he's gone 6 innings. He had 6 strikeouts, 2 walks at Auburn, and 2 games ago 11 strikeouts and no walks against Kentucky.
Yeah, he's going to be good, David, and every Friday guy in this league is really good. But, he's a 3-pitch guy. He's going to be fastball, curveball, changeup. That fastball will be 87 to 91. Won't be overpowering or anything we haven't seen up until this point, David. And curveball, that's his out pitch. It's going to be 75 to 80. The changeup, 80 to 85. But, the thing is, we've just got to take the curveball away from him, make sure it's up in the zone. But that we'll have to do a good job of that tonight.
And Gunnar Hoagland goes for Ole Miss, 29th career start, 30th career appearance, number 2 in the nation in strikeouts with 78, 3rd in the SEC in strikeouts with 14.33 per game. He's second to the SEC's Vanderbilt Jack Leiter, trails Jack in strikeouts nationally and in the SEC. Ole Miss's all-time record with Gunnar on the mound is 22-7. He had 14 strikeouts against ULM early this year, most by an Ole Miss pitcher since Drew Pomerantz in 2010. He's on the Golden Spikes Award watch list, preseason All-American. He was drafted by Pittsburgh in the first round out of high school, and he'll be going on the hill. Of course, we know a lot about him. He's got a victory over Texas Tech, went over ULM, got a victory over Auburn, took a loss at Florida. Or his wins and losses at 3-1. He did pitch against State in 2019, took the loss in Game 3, 3 2/3 innings pitch, 8 hits, second most in his career, 5 earned runs, tied a career high, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. So he would like to bounce back from that, Brad.
Yeah, but this is a different Gunnar Hoagland, DK.
Yeah, no doubt.
That fastball is at 92 to 95 miles an hour. The slider, which is a new pitch for him, and it's been his out pitch, DK, is 83 to 85. Change-up around 80, and he still has that curveball, although he's relying a lot more heavily on that slider.
So that's our pitching matchup. We're going to look at the SEC and what's going on for your auto, home, and life. Visit your local agent or find them on the web at shelterinsurance.com. Shelter Insurance sponsors our SEC update. We're your shield and we're your shelter. Owen Diodati hit a walk-off single in the bottom of the 10th to give the Crimson Tide the 1-run victory last night over arch-rival Auburn. They won 8-7 in Tuscaloosa. Landon Green got the win on the hill for the Tide, pitching the last 2 innings scoreless with 4 strikeouts. Green's now 3-0. Auburn now 1-12 in league play. They have lost, this is amazing, 7 one-run games in the conference. LSU beat South Carolina 5-1 Baton Rouge. Landon Marceau picked up his 4th win for the Tigers, limited the Gamecocks to 3 hits and 7 scoreless innings. He threw 107 pitches, 70 for strikes. Gavin Dugas jump-started LSU in the bottom of the 2nd with a 2-run home run, and they did not trail the rest of the away. It was Dugas 10th. Games underway. Kentucky leads Georgia, top of the third, 1-0 in Athens. Missouri, Florida just getting underway right now, top of the first. Vandy will be at Tennessee tonight. You've got Auburn at Alabama, game 2. South Carolina, LSU, game 2. And Texas A&M is at Arkansas. The Eastern Division led by Tennessee and Vandy. They're both 9-3. Western Division led by Arkansas at 9-3, but Ole Miss and Mississippi State right behind the Hogs at 8-4. Chris Lemonis is the head coach for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. He's perfect against Ole Miss, 4-0. He'll try to keep that going. Mike Bianco, the head coach of the Rebels, 37-43 in his career against Mississippi State, and we'll hear from him next on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
Okay, my name's not Smokey, and I'm certainly not a bear, but I do come bearing an important message regarding wildfires. If it's a windy day, don't burn, and make sure you're not under a burn ban. Because like the slogan says, only you can prevent wildfires. I know, it sounds better when he says it. So pretend it came from a big furry bear in a ranger hat. And visit msforestry.com for more wildfire prevention tips. A message from the Mississippi Forestry Commission through a grant from the USDA Forest Service.
The best offense is a good defense, and one of the most effective ways to combat the spread of viruses and illnesses is to practice proper hand hygiene. That's why Ole Miss Athletics has teamed up with Addis Clean to be its official hand sanitizer provider. At 80% ethyl alcohol, Addis Clean effectively inactivates viruses and eliminates other pathogens that may be present on hands. Keep your family and businesses safe with Addis Clean hand sanitizer, the official hand sanitizer of Ole Miss Athletics. Buy Addis Clean at Amazon.com.
Hitting them long and touching them all. This is Ole Miss Baseball from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
The Ole Miss Dugout Show continues with the head coach of Rebel Baseball, Mike Bianco. Presented by First South Farm Credit. We finance the land, you build the memories. Visit firstsouthland.com. Once again with the head coach, here's David Callum.
And welcome back to Dudy Noble. Ole Miss and Mississippi State about to meet in game 1 of this 3-game series. We do have Rebel head coach Mike Bianco. And, Coach, you've been doing this series a long time. It's a lot of fun, that's for sure.
It is. And, it's the epitome of rivalries. And, especially this year, usually we both have really good programs and good years going. And this year's no different. Both teams almost identical records and, both ranked in the top, 10. And should be a great weekend.
What is your scouting report on them just in general, their team, and what you expect from them?
Well, I think when you look at them, I don't think anybody, it's hard to get past the pitching. There's not just the arms at the top, which are terrific, but the depth, and what their bullpen looks like, and they're one of the best, not only in our league but in the country.
And we've got, of course, Gunnar Hoagland going tonight. We look forward to seeing him again. He's had a phenomenal year. No doubt. And, our 3 guys are terrific as well. And when you look at the numbers, match up with them very well. And, we say week in and week out. We've struggled the last couple of Fridays, but it hasn't been, Gunnar's fault. Gunnar's, been terrific and really hasn't had a bad a game all year. And so hopefully he'll give us another gem tonight. We know Justin Bench is back in the lineup. He feeling pretty good?
He's feeling pretty good. Hadn't done much today, so we'll see through batting practice. But I'm pretty confident he's going to be all right.
We've already talked about it on the pregame. This will be the first event between
the Rivals since the pandemic started that there's no restrictions. We've got restrictions football, restrictions basketball, so you're going to have a bunch of folks up in this place tonight.
No doubt. And, it's Super Bulldog weekend, and every time we come here, it's Super Bulldog weekend. But I think it'll have a great crowd tonight, and tomorrow I'm sure it'll be, record-breaking crowds. And it's good. It's good for college baseball, and I know our guys are ready to embrace it.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Bianco, head coach of the Rebels, Ole Miss, Mississippi State coming up. We'll continue their pregame show shortly on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
Your voice lets him know he's safe. Shelter Insurance does the same for you. Roadside assistance is now included with your auto policy, so if your car leaves you stranded, just call and we'll take care of you while you take care of what's most important. Find out more at shelterinsurance.com. Wear your shield, wear your shelter. Some restrictions apply.
My name is Lindsay Davis, and there was a time when my weight really got in the way of doing the things I care about. I couldn't play with my kids. I was self-conscious in my clothes, and I just didn't feel like myself. The team at the Baptist Weight Loss Center in Oxford changed my life. By offering pre- and post-surgical support, they could change yours too. Call 1-800-976-5589 to get better with Baptist today.
From first pitch to the final out, you're listening to Rebels Baseball on the Ole Miss Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Rebel Equipment and Supply, Memphis and the Mid-South's first choice for construction equipment, supplies, rentals, and service. For over 50 years, Rebel Equipment has been the first choice for concrete equipment and supplies, aerial lifts, air tools, compaction equipment, and Exmark commercial moors. Rebel Equipment on Shelby Drive in Memphis.
We want your business even if you're not a Rebel.
Rebel Equipment and Supply.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Welcome back to the Ole Miss Dugout Show. It's time now for today's starting lineups, brought to you by Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
And we'll definitely look at the Ole Miss starting lineup for you. Jacob Gonzalez is going to lead off, the shortstop, left-hand hitting freshman from Glendora, California. Hitting second, Peyton Chatinier, the second baseman, right-hand hitting sophomore from Cypress, Texas. Three-hole hitter for Ole Miss is Kevin Graham, the left fielder. Bats left, throws right, junior from O'Fallon, Missouri. Batting cleanup is Hayden Dunhurst, the catcher. Left-hand hitting sophomore from Carrere, Mississippi. Batting fifth will be Justin Bench, playing third base. Right-hand hitting junior from Reddington Beach, Florida. Batting sixth is T.J. McCants, the center fielder. Bats left, throws right, freshman from Cantonment, Florida. Batting seventh for Ole Miss, and this one has been Van Cleve, the DH, right-hand hitting senior from Indianola, Mississippi. Hitting eighth is Cale Baker, the first baseman. Bats and throws right-handed, the senior from Gahanna, Ohio. And batting ninth for Ole Miss is John Rice Plumlee, the right fielder. Bats and throws right-handed, the sophomore from Hattiesburg. Gunnar Hoagland on the hill, the righty junior from Hudson, Florida. That's a look at the Rebels starting lineup, brought to you by Atmos Energy, your natural gas company. First pitch coming up on the Ole Miss Radio Network.
C-Spire 5G. We're building a fast, powerful 5G network to bring you faster phones. You heard right. C-Spire 5G. Phones faster. Saying it anymore would be C-Spire 5G. Faster phones. No bull. For a limited time, get our best 5G phone free with trade-in.
Today tastes like a sunny day. Like firing up the senses and cooling them down with an ice cold Coke. Today tastes like a well-oiled grill. Like it smells so good, you can't help yourself.
Hey, it's not ready yet.
Like hands dipping in an ice bucket. Today tastes like a Sunday ritual. And it never tasted this good. Coca-Cola. Together tastes better.
We'll be back after a word from your local station. This is Ole Miss Baseball from Learfield IMG College.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Receive a $20 Kroger or Walmart gift card, Grizzly swag, and BOGO McDonald's coupons while supplies last. Join us and get vaccinated on Friday, April 16th and Saturday, April 17th during our community vaccination days at the Pipkin Building from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pipkin, located at the Liberty Bowl Stadium.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Station.
Pitch coming on, slides and makes the catch. He's going to step on the bag at third, fire to first base with a double play, and the Rebels are out of it. One on, fly ball, right field. That's at the wall, and it's gone.
Hotty toddy.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. That one is gone. Showers in the outfield.
This is Ole Miss Baseball.
Back to the pitcher, gloved by Kimbrell. He'll flip to first, and it's a no-no for the Rebels. Play ball!
It's time to play ball. Today's play-by-play coverage of Ole Miss Baseball is brought to you by Bancorp South. Bancorp South is committed to meeting you right where you are and to making every day feel a little bit more like game day. Learn more about us at bancorpsouth.com/sports. Addis Clean